up, Internet? So the GM killed the Beastmaster Ranger's favorite wolf companion, and then the Ranger player left the house with a 1,000-yard stare and said he's never coming back. So session's canceled. As is pizza night. It's just things got real awkward. The session's canceled. We're back. Hi.
He was so young.
He was so young. Bro, he was like 10. That's really young. Not in wolf years.
You don't know that?
Fuck you. He was a dire wolf. They live twice as long. Actually,
True.
funny enough, they probably would live shorter lives because they are much larger.
Nah.
But it's fine. We're not going to. That's actually kind of depressing. Dire wolves would probably only live like 4 or 5 years.
You guys ever see a you guys ever see a timber wolf at all?
A timber wolf? Yeah, they're fucking huge.
I mean, like
They're
in
huge.
a video, yeah.
Oh my god, my dad and I went to a zoo years ago and we saw one, and literally for 30 minutes we were like, how can we take this precious
Can we
precious
steal
boy
this
home?
dog?
Can we steal this horse-sized fucking wolf?
Steal this horse dog. Can I steal it? Question 1, can I steal it? Question 2, can I ride it?
Yeah.
And the answer is like, probably.
Well, very questionable at best.
Probably, assuming its hips don't fucking give out.
Yeah, like, I don't know. They're big enough. The question is, I guess the question would come down to like muscle and skeletal system. Can it support the weight in that way and stuff? Because it's not just about the size of the animal necessarily, right? There's some other factors to it. Anyway, hey, hello. It is I, Josh. Also, Matt is here.
Yes.
Also, Isaiah has returned from his adventure to the Golden Throne. The Emperor looked at him and went, ew, and threw him back.
Damn.
Which is unfortunate,
Yeah,
because he takes all psychers, as far as I'm aware, so I don't know how you got yeeted back.
Apparently, I'm not a psyker.
Oh, well, that's convenient.
Yeah, you know. I don't know why I'm hearing the warp voices then. Now I'm a little more concerned, but...
I call the warp.
What is it, Matt?
Someone might be looking at a demon host in their near future, and that's...
Oh, sick. Hey, what is it, Matt said every time? 10 plus 9, 21. Every time you fucking vented your peril.
I gotta get back on Warhammer some point.
I almost have all 4. My Zealot's level 20. I'm 10 levels away from having every class maxed.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I got
I'm at
one...
I'm at like 130 hours in the game.
Good lord. I'm at 1 max level veteran and 1 like level 10 zealot.
Yeah. Let it be known.
And I haven't even looked at fucking
the other two.
Yeah.
Let it be known. More of a Warhammer fan than Chris, because I got him beat by like 10 hours.
Got him.
Anyway. We're not talking about Warhammer.
Oh no?
What we are talking about is something that has absolute... I was going to try and do a transitionary joke, but Ranger doesn't really... Talking about Ranger. Talking about Ranger thing.
My god. Finally.
Talking about the most... I'm just going to say the most controversial class in all of 5e. Think that's fair?
Yeah. Well, now
I would say that's not incorrect.
Yeah. Now it's a tie between Druid and Monk. You know, whatever the internet decides to hate on.
Here's my thing. Well, so Druid only became a topic because WotC was fucking with Druid. They weren't really a topic before. Monk is a topic not because it's controversial, but because everyone's like, it just sucks, right? Ranger, I say, is the most controversial because just nobody can agree on what Ranger should be or how it should work. You know?
Or if it's good, or if it's
whether it's good or
shitty,
it's bad
or if it's
this
OP.
or that. Yeah, like there's just no... Its identity is just a mess. So, here's the thing. I want to kind of speed through our usual 4 questions because...
Nani?
I don't really care about them that much. I want to get to the juicy stuff because I have some juicy thoughts on Ranger.
Okay.
So, we're going to do... I think we'll do the initial questions as we do, but I think we do them a little quick. Okay.
Sure.
Everybody? Yeah?
Yeah.
Because it's time for some spicy argument.
I will also say the quintessential list that I got this time does not exist.
I hate you, but okay.
Yeah.
You don't have a quintessential Ranger?
No. You know how usually I grab a bunch of different ones?
Oh, you
Like-
can only think of one?
No. I scoured the internet. No one can agree. And so I literally have 3 choices, and everyone's going to guess what the 3 of them are.
Okay. So, we'll start with our rate.
Mhm.
And,
Wait, Josh, before anything,
What? Oh God. Yes. Yes.
where can people
Do the thing. No, Matt. No, they know where
Julie,
they
do
can
the
find us.
thing.
They've already found us if they're listening, Matt, for the oh my God. Please, tell a friend about us. That's what I'm going to say this week. Tell a friend. Let a friend know. Because you've probably already hit follow or subscribe. So tell someone else. Point us in someone's direction. Share in a Discord group. Share on a Reddit page. I would say share on Twitter, but I hate that place now, so maybe don't. Yes, I know we're still on there. It's out of necessity, okay?
Shout
Yeah.
us out on Tumblr. That's a deep cut. If you're on
sure,
Blue Sky,
if you want to shout us out on fucking Tumblr, I'll take it.
you know what? Hit us up on Blue Sky too. We don't even have a.
We definitely don't. We don't have a Blue Sky. Isn't Blue Sky still invite only?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yep. Anyway, what was that? Rating. Okay.
Mhm.
So, kind of bouncing off what I said before, Ranger gets a 3 from me because it's so controversial, and in the sense that like it's just such a mess that I can't give it anything other than the 3. Like I can't, because there's some parts of Ranger where I'm like, that's a 5, and then there's other parts where I'm like, that's a 1, and it's just I can't. It just gets a 3. I don't know how else to put it. It gets a 3 with a side of Zinchian chaos. Like I don't know how else. It's just a mess.
It's Zinchi and chaos.
I don't know how else to put it. You know what I mean? Like because
Yeah.
I love the fiction. I love the fiction of the Ranger. I love the fantasy hunter dude with a magical connection to animals. It just,
It's cool.
it just is such a mess. It's just such a mess. I don't know how else to put it. Matt, what's your rating?
I'm stuck between a 2 and a 3, to be honest.
Right.
Just if I put
Matt-
it at a
Matt,
2, it's
just-
going to be my lowest, but I think I might go 3 just because
Give it a 3 to make me feel better.
I think I'm going to give it mostly. I'm going to give it a 3 because I fucking love the Drake Warden. It literally saved the whole class for me in general.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I love
yeah.
Drake Warden that much, but interesting. I do like Drake Warden, but I don't. Yeah. Okay. Isaiah.
Yeah, I'm a brutal home dog. It's a 3, and it's not even because I want to make you happy. It's just a 3. Like it just be that way.
It's because
sometimes,
it's just like it's like what? Well, it's like what other number can you? That's like it's the most 3S
Yeah.
3 class. It's just
yeah.
I don't know what else to give it. That really is what it is. Look, nobody's gonna get lower than fighter for me. Just spoil that now. So
Did
like
you give it
yeah,
a 1 or 2?
a 2. I gave fighter a 2. Although I'll admit. In the 2024 playtest material, fighters bumping up a little, so that might change in the
Yeah.
future. Along with the weapon or the weapon mastery stuff, which is also heavily bumps up fighter indirectly.
Yeah.
As well as reworking feats, which is also indirectly reworking fighter because that's one of their shticks.
Let it be known, this is completely unrelated, but I shaved my mustache today, and my clippers got a bunch of my trimmings up my nose, so I've been sneezing all day. It's so gross.
That was so incredibly random, sir.
I keep muting my mic because I keep sneezing.
Okay, good to know.
When you're trimming your beard, follow today's sponsor, Manscaped. Oh,
God, I wish. Not because I use it, just because I want money.
I do actually use it.
I
Fair
do
enough.
too.
Yeah. I mean, we're all saying the same thing without saying exactly the same thing. I feel like is kind of where it comes when it comes to
It's-
rating.
Yeah,
it's
well, because there's
very
some shit
in the
where you
mid-
look at it and you go, awesome. And then there's other shit where it's like, literally, what the fuck are you here for?
Literally
Like,
who? Literally
Yeah.
why?
Yeah, like literally who? Literally why? Literally what?
This is why years ago I used to think that, like, again, the Ranger should just be a fighter subclass. Now I've learned, I've matured.
We'll get to that.
I don't have that belief anymore.
We'll get to that.
But-
Don't you worry.
But there are times when that thought comes back to me, and I'm just like, mayhaps.
I have some reasons that I think are valid enough for why it shouldn't be.
Right.
Comma. I don't know if WotC's gonna do them, but yeah. All right.
Because before anything, because when we did our first like play test of the experts, we all were kind of like pretty like positive from what I remember of the Ranger in there.
Nah.
Oh,
nah. I thought it was fine. It was a lot of like. It was just a lot of like retooling existing. Like it wasn't the real overhaul it needed or needs. Like it wasn't bad, but I wasn't like popping a boner over it. That's for sure.
I wonder if I don't know if you guys want to later. We can do a compare and contrast between the expert from the first UA and then the more recent one. Because I feel like I kind of like the first one more than the last one.
I don't remember enough.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Honest.
Yeah, that could be a big maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Quintessential Ranger. I'm now gonna say somebody that Matt and Isaiah don't know who it is, but what a surprise.
Yep.
It's another World of Warcraft character. It's Rexxar. Anyone who's played WoW, you know who Rexxar is. You do know fucking finally. Let's go.
Yeah, because you've talked about him before.
Because I love him. He's so fucking cool. He's like the Ranger-iest Ranger.
Oh, the Wolf Mask guy.
Yeah, Wolf Mask guy.
I've seen. I played him in Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, he was cool in Heroes of the Storm, actually. Yeah, big beefy man. Big 2 tomahawks. He's got his pet bear Misha. He also has a pet falcon and a pet boar that are awesome. And in Warcraft 3, when you have him as a hero unit, he can summon all 3 of them. Super sick. He's literally a Ranger Outlander. Homeboy just looked at the orcs and was like, this shit's stupid. I'm out of here. Actually, no, sorry. I believe he got exiled because he
got exiled. Oh.
I think he's half ogre, if I remember. Yeah, he's half ogre, half orc. So he lives out in the wildlands. I can't remember what they're called, but he lives out in like the middle of nowhere. He lived with an ogre clan, I think. And then he was there, and then him and Thrall became homies, and they helped found Durotar and Orgrimmar, and that was like a cool thing. I know you guys don't know what they are, but they're important cities.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're saying a whole lot of words to me.
I know. I'm saying a lot of words.
I know of Orgrimmar.
Okay, yeah.
I know the city. I've been there.
The primary city for the Horde side, and he was like there for the founding because him and Thrall were bros. He's also really neutral. Like he's technically Team Horde, but like reluctantly Team Horde. You know, he's one of those guys who's like, I'm on the Horde because me and Thrall are bros, but like that, I'm not like super zealous about the whole situation.
He's like, the Alliance keep making fun of my underbite, so I have to fucking
like he's pretty neutral in a very rangery kind of way. He's generally a bro, honestly.
Yeah. It's crazy because looking at this guy and then hearing you're like, oh, he just summons his animals. This really brings me to the MCDM, the Beastmaster or whatever it's called.
Yeah, he is kind of Beastmastery. He actually, so that's kind of the Beast Heart. Yes, he has a little Beast Heart.
Sorry.
He actually doesn't technically summon the animals. They're just always around. It's just mechanically in game he summons them.
Right.
But they're supposed to always be sort of around.
Sorry, the Beast Heart does the same thing. I don't know why I said summon.
They're always around. Yes, because him and Misha in particular are like low-key siblings. Right? It's like that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, basically the only rangery thing he doesn't do is like he doesn't really use a bow very much, but like
I don't even honestly. I mean, I'll say this later on. I don't even think bow is necessary.
I don't either. Yeah, no, I don't think it is either. That's what I was gonna say. Like that's the one non-stereotypical thing I would say he does rangery, but literally everything else he does is like ranger shit. He also has some like low-key nature magic and stuff. Like, my other sort of like a half joke answer is, you guys ever seen the original World of Warcraft cinematic? Like the first one they made when the game came out?
You mean the
No.
one with the guy fighting the orc in like that grass field? Or no?
No, that's Warcraft 3.
Shit.
So the original vanilla WoW first ever cinematic trailer shows a dwarf out in the snow with his pet
Oh.
bear.
Yeah.
He's a dwarf
Oh.
hunter. That's not actually a character, but the energy that man has is like my other pick.
Yeah.
He's a dwarf man. He got his big old he's a dwarf, so he doesn't use a bow. He uses a musket like a man. And he's just got his big ass bear, and him and the bear just rock up on this like cliff, and they just look so fucking sick. And that 5-second clip in that cinematic made me want to play. They're called hunters in World of Warcraft. Made me want to play a hunter. That's also why if you hit me and Sam, we'll always say hunter when we mean ranger. It's because of WoW. It's because they're called hunters in WoW.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, there's a subclass called hunter.
That's the confusing thing. There's the subclass. That's the other thing that throws me off.
It's fine.
But yeah, that's my sort of half other answer. But if you ever seen this, I'm sure you've seen this picture.
Yeah. I've seen that. Is that the
dude.
guy? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's not like an actual character. He sort of represents the hunter class.
Okay.
Matt had a funny list. Start with Isaiah. You do yours.
Oh, I actually also had a few.
God damn.
Nah, that's all good. Because this will be good. Because again, my list is really small.
Okay, so my actual answer, my not Isaiah answer, is Sokka from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Huh?
I don't know if I love that one. I'm gonna be honest.
All right, hear me out. Ready?
Yeah. I'm listening.
We actually see Sokka do a lot of Ranger-esque shit. Like, Sokka is very adept at sneaking up on targets, right? We've seen him do that several times. There's the whole section where they spend time with Jet in the forest when he sticks the knife in the tree to hear people coming and going. That's literally primeval awareness.
Yeah.
He
Yeah, I forgot
tracks,
how
he
much
gets a
nature
lot of their
shit
food
sucks.
for them. He
Yeah.
hunts. He spends he spent a lot of time in the wilderness, and he just happened to pick up sword fighting. Like, he multi-classed fighter later on.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just not good with animals.
No, he's a terrible.
That's the only thing. He's just.
See, but that's my thing. See, this is why the animals part, I think, is one of the key things for Ranger. So that's why I feel like I can't say Sokka.
Well, he definitely has favorite foe. It's humans, specifically people from the Fire Nation.
Sure, I'll give you that one.
He is a natural explorer. He's very good at exploring the Arctic and forests, from what we found out from his dad, like when he's talking about with his dad.
Yep.
He has a fighting style, which is thrown weapon fighting and dueling.
Yep.
He can't cast spells. Very
He can make
specifically.
traps.
He can make traps. He has primeval awareness. He's literally like the definition of like standard dude McRogueman. Like,
Yeah.
he's just a hunter rogue.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way before. I keep forgetting about that.
Wait, Hunter
With
Rogue
Sokka?
isn't what?
Sorry, Hunter Ranger. My bad.
Oh yeah, I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'm iffy on that one because of the sort of the bad with animals and the lack of like, because I also think the sort of the naturey magic should be part of it.
Fair enough. My only counter to that is we have seen magic use, like specifically magic oriented classes, not have or use magic, i.e. Edgin from the D&D movie.
Yeah, okay, but that's like
That's a
really specific example that they did for a really specific reason. That's because the director was like, we didn't want anyone other than, because the druid doesn't do any magic either other than wild shaping. Because
that was
the director was like, we didn't want anyone else casting spells because we wanted that to be the sorcerer's thing. We wanted everyone to have. Basically, the director was like, I wanted the characters to have niche protection. So if the bard and the druid were also casting spells, it would sort of muddy the waters on what the sorcerer was there for. So it's kind of a weird example to use, you know, like it was a very specific directorial decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, personally, I think what he should have done was shown the differences between the magic. I think that would have been a more fun idea, but you know, whatever.
They didn't really have
definitely
like
agree there.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really have like a cleric or anything, too. So you couldn't even do like differences.
No, but
of,
they
like,
had a
divine or
you have a
druid. Yeah,
you have a druid, which is a sort of kind of a, you know, has a bit of a divine bend. I feel like you could have shown that the druid does specifically nature magic, and then the bard, just have the bard do like supporty only kind of spells, like maybe he casts bardic inspiration, he throws a hypnotic pattern, like a polymorph or bane, shit like that.
Oh yeah.
You know, like don't have him do firebolt or something like that, which bards can't get anyway. But you know what I mean.
Right.
What's your other ones, Isaiah?
So my second one is Wander from Shadow of the Closet.
Wander
has an affinity with animals.
Yeah, that one I get.
Specifically tracks his prey, is good in his environment. His specified environments are, you can make an argument that they are
forest and mountain.
Yes, forest and mountain.
That's what I would say.
He has an animal companion in aggro. He is good with a bow and with a sword. He literally has Colossus Slayer.
Yes, he does.
Somehow.
He does.
My final pick, and this is the wacky one, it's Paul Atreides.
Nah, I can't. No, I can't get behind this one. I don't know where you're going with. I can't.
Wait, who is this?
Paul Atreides, Dune, main character of Dune.
Oh.
He is so clearly a cleric rogue. I cannot.
Well, here's the thing. He's not a cleric, but what he does specifically do, right? After he joins the Fremen. No. He becomes adept at, so he has a favorite enemy in humanoids, right? And the worm, it's not really an enemy, but like
the worms,
a thing that he is good at hunting, the worms.
Yeah. That can, I mean, that's part of favorite enemy.
He's a natural explorer, forests and deserts, because he was born on Caladan and taught by the Fremen on Arrakis. He has 2-weapon fighting and fucking dueling, because he fights with like standard swords.
Yeah, but
and he does his best with his double daggers. He definitely has.
Too, though.
Here's the thing. He definitely has fucking spells, right? Because you can make a very easy argument.
I said yes, he definitely has spells.
Yeah, like I'm trying to fucking look at the ranger spells real quick because I had them and I still.
The weirding way is, you know, magic fighting.
yeah, of course. Where is it? He has Beast Bond because he has like a special connection with the worms. It doesn't show you. Fair enough. He doesn't have. I thought they had some like talk to people ones, but he definitely has Pass Without Trace because he does the fucking like the Fremen pop out of the fucking sand
sneak. Yeah,
the sand sneak. Yeah, he just, and the weirding way is literally just Zephyr Strike. It's a way of like controlling your muscles that makes you faster and like stronger and more adept.
Maybe. I feel like the religious bent throws it off for me. Like, the weird religious bent makes me want to say he's something else. No?
I understand where you're coming from. I get it. I think.
I guess I could maybe say maybe he's a ranger rogue multi-class scenario. Because he feels pretty roguey.
Well, he also, I think you have to remember the religious side of him is to nature itself, right? They praise the worms.
That's true. It is a little more about the planet, I suppose. Yeah, because they don't really have they don't have like a Christian style god, do they?
Nope.
Yeah. All right, maybe you've convinced me a little bit. I've been slightly swayed.
I'm proud of my decisions.
Yeah.
All right, Matt.
All right. Just gonna get the big two out of the way. Aragorn, Legolas, of fucking course. You know, everyone. and
I
their
will
mother.
die on the hill. Aragorn's a fighter.
Well, that's the thing. Aragorn, much like Dritz Duerden, is a fighter ranger multi-class.
Yeah.
Even R.A. Salvatore's like, yeah, he's probably like, I don't know, 12, 14 levels of ranger, and then the rest in fighter,
I know,
maybe
that
champion
drives me-
fighter.
I hate.
He's just like, bruh.
I hate that so much because I'm like, then why did you give him the panther?
Because it's
gave
a cool
him-
magic item.
You gave him the distinctly ranger thing with the pet, and they're like, yeah, he's a fighter. I'm like, God damn it.
Again, he's mostly ranger.
I fucking guess.
I love that it's like, oh yeah, no, he just has like the fucking idol of the panther, but it's
Yeah.
broken, so it just can't turn off.
I know, which is
Basically.
such a like cop out fucking. I hate that.
It is a massive cop out, but
I
it's
hate it.
so
Guinevere, yeah.
fucking funny,
It's
dude.
so annoying.
Yeah.
All right. You got a
Yeah. No,
better
Aragorn, I
answer?
don't know, because Aragorn, because again, he's a good tracker. He has a little bit of connection with nature, spiritual thing.
We're gonna.
He's able to tame the horse.
Listen, we're gonna get into this. I think there's nothing Aragorn does. I think makes him not a fighter. But I have.
But he's also the
I have
stereotypical
in this essay.
ranger.
I will. I have my reasonings.
Yeah. Legolas, because everybody, Legolas.
I think Legolas is a
he does
ranger,
the same
yes.
thing.
Yes.
Yeah, he does the same thing, and he's good with the bow, but he's also good with twin swords.
He's also an elf, which makes it a little more stereotypical,
An elf,
which I think
wood
is
elf,
part of it.
you know,
he's a wood
he's-
elf, yeah.
Yeah. Another one, Geralt of Rivia.
I mean, yeah,
Jerry
Geralt's,
of the River.
yeah. I mean, Jerry, my man Jerry he's a weird ranger. Like,
It's a very weird ranger.
He's a weird
but
one.
Specifically, I'll say Witcher 3, or
Yeah,
at least maybe
well-
the video games more so than the book.
the video games, yeah, probably that's probably true.
Yeah, just because of all the tracking and all that, and like they show a little bit of that in the novels and like the planning,
did a little
especially, and they
bit
do
in
a
the
good
show,
job
too.
of showing that in the first episode where he fights I forgot what it's called, the Strega, the weird monster girl, and then he has to like lie with her.
The
in the
Strega
coffin.
in the show's episode 4.
Oh no, what am I thinking of then?
The big
The-
spider
the-
monster. Yeah,
No, it's the monster after that.
monster
it's the
after
one
that's
where-
the dude who's been or who's been like the Bruja.
The Bruja, thank you.
Yeah,
I couldn't
the
think of
vampire.
the name. The
Vampire chick.
Yeah. No, not the vampire chick. It's the creature he fights in that like stone, in that stone like castle, and the only way to
that's
actually
Bruxa.
break the curse.
No. It's Bruxa.
Bruxa, fuck.
But they are vampires. I don't know what you're saying. They're
There's-
not.
Oh, I don't know.
If you're talking about the monster where he lays in the coffin, that's the Striga.
and then the coffin changes and it's a little girl or
That's
whatever.
the Striga.
The daughter of the guy. Okay, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, that's episode 4.
That. Okay, yeah.
But the one in the second episode is the Bruxa, the vampire chick, where
Okay.
she turned the dude into the weird monster.
Yeah. Okay.
But yes, I would say the show does a decent job of showing his like trackery stuff too.
At first.
I mean, fair enough. Whatever. Season 1 did it.
And then another one is also kind of cheating, but Vexalia, Critical Role,
I mean,
D&D,
yeah, that
but
one's
also-
too much cheat. I can't. Critical Role characters is that's no. I mean, you're not
Yeah.
wrong, obviously, but like, no, I refuse.
I will say in the comics, they show her like later on the show because they get like more high level and stuff. She goes from being, I think she's Ranger Rogue. I don't know,
Ranger Rogue, yeah.
Yeah.
Ranger Rogue.
Yeah, she
but
picks
like,
up Rogue.
yeah, and she more so become the marksman than the ranger. Whereas in the comic books, it's specifically there's a whole bit with like what are they called, the basilisks, and like she's literally like tracking it, learning about the blood, and being like, yeah, if you use basilisk blood, it'll purify people and unstone them and all this shit, and like showing that and teaching it to Vax. Also, the whole animal companion with a bear.
Is
Always a bear.
I'm gonna be honest. It is always a bear, which is why I always refuse to pick a bear. I will say, I mean, I know in the campaign, Laura Bailey picked up Rogue, but I feel like the only reason she picked up Rogue is because she just saw Liam doing a lot of damage and went, I want to do a lot of damage, so she picked up Rogue. I honestly think that's as far as that thought went.
She swapped at some point in the campaign to Revise Ranger. And again, Revise Ranger was fucking broken. And it was great.
Not that broken, because she still got her ass beat most of the time.
Oh, yeah. But she was able to dish out like...
Trinket still got his ass beat most of the time.
Yeah.
My favorite shit was, wait, so I have to use my attack, but this fucking robot gets it for free? And he's like, yeah. Because Beastmaster. Or Matt was like, yeah, because Beastmaster. You're like...
Yeah.
Look, you know, I get it. I get the Beastmaster situation because they were afraid of doing what Ranger was in 4th edition again. So they were scared about over-tuning the action economy when they made the 2014 handbook. So they they pulled Ranger back, but they pulled it back too far.
Way too much. It is kind of nuts from hearing you and then like Matt Colville and a couple other people talk about how
Ranger worked.
The Ranger was in 4E, and then seeing like, again, because I've only been playing 5E or D&D in general since, 2017? So, like, it's been 6 years, but that's nothing compared to, like, 4th edition going back even further.
Yeah.
So, like, for me to hear this and see, you know, and seeing people talking about it and discussing it, it's like, oh, damn.
I think it's, I find it very funny because I do understand that they were reluctant to, you know, overtune Ranger the way they did in 4th edition, and from what I've heard, also arguably 3rd edition. But the fact that they had this system of action bonus action from the jump, and they didn't want to let Ranger utilize it with their pet, and now you look back at it with hindsight, and it's like, what were you guys afraid of? You know? Because
what were you afraid of? An extra D8? Like, come on.
Yeah, right. That's you know, it's like you were afraid of a D8 with a bonus action. But not only, but if you think about it, you're like, yeah, but the animal's stats are shittier than the players. The animal's probably going to hit less. The modifier's probably going to be less, so the D8's not going to be that big. And the fighter gets extra attack at level 5. You know? Which is the same thing. So, like, what were you afraid of? It's kind of funny. Like, now that we obviously it's you know, hindsight's 2020, right? So, like, obviously we can look back at how the game is now and be like, they were being overly cautious. But it is a little funny to be like, what were you thinking was going to happen exactly?
Yeah.
It's not the only thing in the game like that either. There's other weird spots like that where you're like, what?
And I will say Tasha's did kind of fix a lot of with Ranger.
It didn't fix it. It made it a little better.
It made Ranger more playable.
A little more playable.
Like, again, people barely played Ranger. Then Tasha's came out and added a lot of quality of life stuff. The new subclasses gave them extra spell lists. Like, it did. Like, I just feel bad that we are probably going to eventually in, you know, 1D&D's nuts, 5.5, you know, Turbo, Ultra, Max, whatever, that we're going to end up losing a lot of flavor things like favorite enemy and terrain shit.
Yeah. Yep. We'll get to it. Yeah. All right. Let's bang through these next two questions quickly because clearly we're getting into the sauce too. So we want the sauce.
Yeah.
All right. Have you played the class? I played the class a little bit in like a 3-shot that Matt ran, White Plume Mountain. I played Ranger for like 3 or 4 sessions. Yeah. Favorite subclass? I know it's shit. I know it probably always will be shit, but Beastmaster's always going to be my favorite subclass. And you can't take it away from me. I refuse. Drake Warden cool though. I'll give that a clean second. Easy second. And if you play fucking Gloomstalker, get out of here, nerd.
I do damage.
You play,
and then I do more damage.
You're playing Gloomstalker. Yeah, you're playing Gloomstalker because it's meta. Don't tell me you had a cool idea for a Gloomstalker.
It's like, what are you? I'm a champion fighter Gloomstalker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're playing it because it's meta. Get the fuck out of here. Don't tell me you had a cool idea. Also, I will say, speaking of,
what'd you do with those last 2 levels, Paladin?
Yeah, of course. A side note, Horizon Walker, I don't have anything against it, but I always look at Horizon Walker and go, what was the inspiration for this subclass? This shit's weird.
Misty Step.
It's
Yeah,
gonna fit in.
and nothing
Isaiah,
else.
It's
But
gonna
then
fit in really
No,
cool
you
with the
can't-
Planescape shit coming out.
True. But like, true, it would have made sense in Planescape, but like you say Misty Step, Isaiah, but then we got Fey Wanderer anyway. So like,
True, which is just
it's
what
just
if
the same
more
thing.
Misty Step?
More Misty Step. Like, and
Yeah.
Fey Wanderer makes a lot of sense because Fey Wanderer, like, I understand the inspiration for like a fairy ranger. That makes a lot of sense. What was the idea for Gloomstalk or not Gloom, for Horizon Walker? Is it just portals? Y'all like portals? Like, I don't. Portals cool, I guess.
I think it's literally like a planeswalker from fucking Magic. That's my crackpot
Maybe.
theory.
Maybe.
Maybe. I mean, well, all right. God,
right,
I don't want to nerd out because I actually kind of know a little bit about Magic the Gathering lore now.
True. Matt, have you played it and favorite subclass? Go.
Yeah, I have played it. I played a level 5 Drake Warden Ranger named Maragon, who was basically I just played an annoying fucking teenager.
I like how I
knockoff of
asked you that.
Aragon.
I am literally the person that ran that character for you, and I forgot.
I know. Yeah, you ran the MCDM one shot. It
I
was
did,
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Completely
And
forgot.
yeah, Drake Warden is my favorite because it's basically Animal Companion, but better, plus Drag Wagon. I got
Plus
my baby
dragon.
Dragon.
Yep.
Yeah. It is fucking, dude, I really want to play a high level Drake Warden one day just to get that level 14 feature of being able to ride a flying dragon mount.
Yeah.
You can do that if
Awesome.
you just play a gnome.
True. It doesn't
True.
fly at lower levels though.
Yeah, but I also want to make
yeah.
the nerdy Dragonlance character and actually like use a lance and fucking.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Mm.
Of course.
Mhm.
Isaiah, have you played it and favorite subclass? Go.
So yes, with a big fucking asterisk.
Okay. Okay.
So I played Ranger in a few one shots. My favorite one is Roark, my Hunter Ranger.
Oh yes.
My French
Once
bastard
again.
Hunter Ranger.
Once again, I was there in that game and forgot about that.
Yeah, but I
I-
played Ranger for some people because I'm the guy, right? I'm the Jaeger pilot. Where it's like, oh, this person's not here. Who wants
I'll
to
take
play this
over.
character? And it's me doing that for 3 separate players because I just want to have
Yeah.
session and no one else is there. So I guess I'm gonna have to #Thanos fine. I'll do it myself.
Yeah, and everyone else is for some
Um,
reason afraid or too lazy to play multiple characters, even though it's not that hard. Anyway,
Yeah, so I'll do 3 at the same time, and I played a Ranger for about 12 sessions.
Jesus fucking Christ.
that's
while
why
I was playing my Blood Hunter and someone else's Rogue.
that's why you just do what I do. I did, Isaiah. I just give you guys so many secondary characters that you can't possibly play them all. Somebody else has to touch them. Saw what I did there?
Yeah, yeah,
It mostly worked.
yeah. But yeah, I my favorite subclass. It's not even like close. It's Hunter. I love the whole like, and yes, I know that that really the only good ones are like Colossus Slayer and some other shit. And I'll get into that later because I was a salty bitch when the expert thing came out.
Oh, okay, that was it. I thought there was a continuation to that sentence. Okay.
Nope. I was just a real salty
All right.
bitch when experts came out.
All right, so just to review, and I know we don't usually do this, but I feel like with this particular class, I don't know, it's worth doing.
Yeah.
So we all gave Ranger a 3, which I think is very notable. That we
Very
all gave it a 3,
tentative
and we all
Yeah.
gave it a 3 for kind of the same reason,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
think is very notable. Our quintessential Ranger examples span a pretty wide berth, and they're all very tangentially related to each other, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Favorite subclass, not particularly notable because we did all have a different answer, which I think that's good. I think it's good that we all have a different. So, I wanna bring a problem to attention, and then I want to see where you guys are at with it mentally.
Yeah.
Right? Because I contest. I don't know if that's the right word, but I think
Propose.
propose is maybe a better word here. I think the problem that the Ranger has, and this is not a wholly unique thought to me, I've heard other people say it, particularly Nerd Immersion has mentioned it many, many times over on his YouTube, which is kind of what sparked the whole train of thought, and he's the reason that I'm like, we need to talk about Ranger. The problem that Ranger has is not, oh, its animals suck, or oh, it should or should not have magic, or oh, it's got a bunch of bad features, or it's not any one little specific thing. Ranger's problem is it lacks a mechanical identity.
See, I was going to say like some sort of identity, like identity in general.
But not fictional. No, see, here's the thing. I think the fictional identity of Ranger is fine. It lacks a mechanical, it lacks a game design identity. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, I agree. Because like you talk to most people and they're like, what's a Ranger? And they're like, yeah, it's the person with the bow. And it's like, no, it's a little more than that.
Right. So I'm going to go through each of the classes here real quick because I think this is interesting. Because I thought about this on my own and I was like, does every other class have an identity mechanically? And the answer is yes, with like one exception. And you can take a guess who the exception is going to be. So Barbarian.
Is it fighter?
No, it's not fighter.
Wow.
I think fighter does have an identity. Barbarian. Obvious identity. Angie Man, right? Rage. Brutal criticals. Going down to 1 HP, staying up, right? Very clear mechanical, like, this is my shit. Big, strong command. Bard. Bardic inspirations. A wide swath of the types of spells they get. The ability to pick up any spell. Song of Rest if they don't fucking get rid of it. You know. Yeah. Anyway. Cleric. The most powerful healing spells, the most powerful resurrection spells, divine intervention, channel divinity.
I was going to say, arguably the strongest spellcaster.
Arguably the strongest spellcaster. Channel divinity, you know, turn undead is obviously iconic. Druid. Wild shape. Some of the nature specific spells. A lot of sort of interesting interactions in terms of like proficiencies and the different spell combos they get, you know, and then they get weird spells like produce flame and shit like that. I also think Druid has particularly diverse and interesting subclasses. Fighter, your dude who does it all. Any weapon you want, go for it, chief. Also, here's a bucket load of feats to really fucking sell that bitch home. Also a certain amount of like mechanically, fighter is able to keep going and going and going. They have a mechanical endurance that a lot of the other classes, I don't think any other class has, really. You know,
Monk, you could argue.
Maybe Monk, yeah. Which actually makes sense. You know, like fighter doesn't have a lot of resources they need to worry about, and the few resources they have, pretty good. And, you know, particularly there's a lot of fighter subclasses where it's like, yeah, I just get a bunch of uses of this thing that make me Chad. You know, and stuff like Second Wind, obviously, and Action Surge. You know. Monk, I mean, key points, just key points. Whether you think they're well designed or not, whatever, that's a whole other topic. But like, key points are a very good mechanical identity. They give you all these different sort of ways to utilize them, which is fun. Paladin, I mean, there's a reason everybody loves Paladin. Mechanically, it's so clear. Smite, auras, capstones, lay on hands. There's so many things that make Paladin. It's just like, come on. Then we get to Rogue, who, much like Paladin, there's a reason everybody loves Rogue. Bunch of expertise, sneak attack, you know, the way their subclasses can change and mess with their sneak attacks, reliable talent, slippery mind. I mean, yeah, come on. Paladin and Rogue, I would say mechanically are probably the most unique, the most, not unique, what's the word I'm looking for?
Clear cut.
Yeah, they have the most clear mechanical design to them. Like, they knew what they wanted those two classes to be.
Sure.
Then we get to the one that I think is a little closer to Ranger in that it has some identity problems. Sorcerer. I think Sorcerer has a little bit of an identity issue. Like, yeah, they have meta magic. It's like kind of it, though. Everything else Sorcerer does, Wizard kind of does. And some
better.
and sometimes better. And some of the subclasses help Sorcerer out more than others. But they feel a little unclear mechanically as to why you would play a Sorcerer over a Wizard. Which is why in the 2024 playtest, right, we're getting more Sorcerer unique stuff, like the Sorcerer's Rage ability, which isn't called Rage, I forget what they called it. But basically, the Sorcerer has their own little mini magical rage, which is good. I like that. They also had the mini Wish thing, which I thought was a good idea. They took that away, which I'm annoyed about, but whatever. The point is, they're looking at Sorcerer and seeing that it has a bit of an identity problem, so they're trying to, like, figure it out. Warlock... I mean, come on. Warlock is the most customizable class. Basically, right? I mean, Eldritch Invocations and Pacts are so good.
Yeah, I think
They fucking-
besides Battle Master, yeah, you're probably looking at fucking Warlock.
Sure, yeah.
Warlock.
I would say they're the
yeah.
most customizable spellcaster, pretty much bar none.
Oh, yeah, Spellcaster,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
And whether you like Pact Magic or not is, you know, its own thing, but Pact Magic is a unique and interesting idea.
Yeah.
When we haven't done a Warlock. Yeah, no, we haven't done a Warlock episode.
No, we haven't.
When we get to
No.
Warlock episode, there's some interesting design things I realized about Warlocks in that Warlocks are spellcasters that play like marshals,
Yes.
Yeah.
which I thought was really interesting when I really like broke down the game, like the design of it in my head, just thinking about it. I was like, oh, that's a lot cooler than I thought originally. However, Warlock has a marketing problem.
Yeah,
Because-
a little bit.
Yeah. A lot of
Yeah.
people expect Warlock to be evil wizard, and it's not. But anyway, we'll get into that in the Warlock episode. And then Wizard is just Magic McMagic guy, right? They're just spell McSteve, like big spell guy, big spell Steve. You know, that's their thing. They have the most spells. They can learn the most spells. They have the most options of spells. They can continuously add spells. You know, they also, their subclasses key off of the types of spells. Even though they're talking about getting rid of that in 2024, which I fucking just... Why? It was one of the coolest things about Wizard. It's fine. I'll go cry now. We're losing Necromancer.
Yeah.
Are
how
we
do you
actually?
guys-
Wait, what?
Yeah, we're losing
Yeah.
Necromancer.
So there are only going to
Why?
be 4 cleric
doing
subclasses
four-
and 4 wizard subclasses.
Yeah, they're doing
Yeah.
4. They're doing 4 subclasses for everyone. And the reason... I'll say, Isaiah, you maybe should go listen to like their most recent video about playtest number 8 because Jeremy
Yeah.
Crawford gets into it. But basically, from what I can remember, their reasoning is kind of interesting in that they want to have 4 subclasses that are opposite dichotomies to each other. So, like the example Jeremy gave was Wild Magic Sorcerer versus Clockwork Sorcerer. And then the other 2 were Dragon Sorcerer versus
I thought it was
Divine Soul?
no, I thought it was the
Or-
evoker versus the
Well, that's for Wizard.
right. Well, I'm just saying as the examples because I don't think he mentioned
Didn't he say
the other
something else about
sorcerer.
Sorcerer? Maybe he didn't. But yeah.
Yeah.
Evoker versus Abjure was the other one he referenced.
Yeah.
So they're talking about having these sort of dichotomies so that picking a subclass feels a little more like
Wait,
clear.
Conjurer's still there, right?
Nope.
I don't think so.
Nope. It's,
Alright, cool, so I'm just gonna
it's
kill
the other
myself.
2
I'll see y'all
are divinity or divination
and illusion.
illusionist.
Yeah.
Cool, it's good to know. I'm
So
killing
we're
myself.
losing
Good to know, guys.
conjuration,
I know.
enchanter.
We're losing
and
Conjurer, Enchanter, and
necromancer.
Yep.
Which
It's okay, Isaiah. You're losing your favorite. I'm losing my favorite. It's fine.
the Abjure is still there, so I win.
Yeah. Lucky
Yay.
you, Matt.
Kill yourself.
Anyway, and then lastly, Artificer. I mean, Artificer, I think, much like Rogue and Paladin, it's very clear, like, what it does and what you want it to do.
Yeah.
The infusions are super
It's
unique. The extra
it's
magic
literally-
items. It's literally what?
it's if you want to play a rogue, but a rogue warlock. You want the like skill jockey of rogue, but the hyper customability of warlock.
Oh, you mean mechanically?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I get what you're saying. I thought you meant. I was thinking fictionally for a minute. I'm like, I don't know if that makes sense to it. But yeah, mechanically, yes. Mechanically,
just do an artificer, rogue, warlock multi-class forehead. God, break the game.
That sounds
terrible.
Awful.
Yeah, that sounds really dumb.
4 skills out of the 6.
It also sounds dumb. Like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's okay. It could be sick, right? If your patron is Mechanus and you're a battlesmith, that would be fucking cool.
Ooh.
But then how do you get rogue in there?
You need more skills.
Sure, I guess. I don't know.
You do a level 1 dip.
I could see that argument. I could
it.
see what you just said for warlock artificer combo for sure. That could be cool. Yeah. So all the classes, I feel like the mechanical identity is clear. And then we get to Ranger. So let's really, what is Ranger's mechanical identity?
It's the Charlie Day meme of like, what do now, Ranger?
Yeah, right. So what you're probably going to think of is, okay, favored enemy and natural explorer. To which I would say that would be true if they didn't suck ass.
Yeah.
Absolutely, favored enemy and natural explorer have the potential to be a mechanical identity, but they suck so fucking hard that they aren't. They're just not useful. They're just not.
Yeah, I mean, we know what the real reason why you're playing Ranger is. It's Hunter's Mark. Let's come on.
So that's
Let's
the other
sugarcoat
one.
it. I'm not
So
going to
here's the
sugarcoat it.
Favorite foe, yeah.
This is the other. No, that's not Hunter's Mark, man. That's a different thing.
No, read it. Read favorite foe. It's Hunter's Mark,
Right,
but now a skill. Now
as
an
a
ability.
skill as opposed to a spell. I mean, yes, I know what you mean, but it's not. I was assuming literally meant the spell.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's the problem. Because I have heard people say that. Well, Ranger has Hunter's Mark. All right, first of all, Paladin can get Hunter's Mark. Let's not forget that. All right. Let's not forget that. I forget which Paladin. I think it's Vengeance. But
Josh,
one of the Paladins.
let's not sugarcoat it.
Yeah, let's not sugarcoat it. Paladin gets fucking Hunter's Mark. So I don't know if we could use Hunter's Mark as an argument. Because let's not forget, like, so, okay, and then you're going to be like, you know, because some people will be like, oh, Warlock has Eldritch Blast. And be like, yeah, cool. Do any subclasses give any other classes Eldritch Blast? No. Hunter's Mark, however, gets handed out like candy. So, you can't use that argument. Here's the other problem. If you're going to tell me Hunter's Mark is the Ranger's identity, are you also going to tell me Hex is the Warlock's identity? Because Hex is effectively the same thing as Hunter's Mark, mechanically, like design-wise. So you're going to tell me Hex is Warlock's identity? No.
Oh, Wizards tried. We remember.
Yeah, that's true. Wizards tried. Wizards can suck my nuts because Hex is boring-ass spell anyway, as much
remember
like Hunter's
when
Mark.
Wizards of the Coast said Pack Magic was too bland and made the Warlock ununique? Pepper's Farm remembers.
That's not. They didn't say Pact Magic was too bland. They said people wanted a way to use their spells more often, so they took out.
But they also literally said Pack Magic was not a unique enough feature, and they wanted to make Warlocks more unique by taking away Pack Magic.
Well, I would say if Pact Magic was the only thing Warlocks had, I would agree it's not a unique enough feature. But Warlocks have other crap, so it's fine. You know what I mean? Like if it was just Pact Magic, I would agree it's not. But with the invocations and the pact boons and everything, different story. So then we go back and we're like, okay, so if it's not favored enemy, it's not natural explorer, it's not Hunter's Mark, what else does Ranger have? Okay, they have spell casting. Well, obviously, no. They have primeval awareness, which is like fine, I guess. It's not terrible, but it's nothing to write home about. You know, like, okay. You go, all right. They had then the favorite enemy and natural explorer improvements. Okay, well, we just established why that's not doing anything. Landstride is fine, I guess. Part of the spell is literally pointless because the ability, not spell, is part of Landstride is You can pass through non-magical plants without being slowed by them and without taking damage from them if they have thorns or spines. I'm sorry, but what GM is being like, you go through a bush, you take a d6 of damage, but not you, Ranger? Literally who? Literally who is doing that?
I will also say Xanathars did add a bunch of Ranger-only
we're gonna get
spells to the game. Okay.
We're going to get there. Don't you worry.
Yeah. All right.
So Landstride is like, okay, and difficult terrain, it's like, well, it's cool that you get to ignore difficult terrain, but again, that gets handed out via a feat. So, mobile exists. And it's not, difficult terrain doesn't come up that much to be like a truly class-defining thing. Hide in plain sight, I like. I like that they get that one. That's cool. But it's also like not that good, especially as a 10th level ability. Because it's like you spend a minute creating camouflage. You must have fresh mud, dirt, plants, soot, and other natural occurring materials to create the camouflage. Once you're camouflaged, you can try and hide by pressing yourself up against solid surfaces, such as a tree or a wall. This is at least as tall as you. You gain a +10 bonus to stealth checks as long as you remain there without moving, or taking actions. So like, it's like a cool idea. You're doing the predator thing. It's like cover yourself in mud, but you just have to stand there. You literally can't take actions. Also, you're not guaranteed invisible. You get a +10 bonus to stealth. So like, you could roll bad and someone could still walk by and see you. And if you break it once you move or take an action or reaction, you have to camouflage yourself again. So like, it's kind of like the assassin's steal identity ability thing. It's just not good enough, mate.
Yeah.
Right? So, okay.
I keep doing the thing because it's sad that I have nothing else to contribute other than being like, yeah, that's true.
I know.
That is kind of.
And then you go, okay, what does Vanish do? They're 14th level. 14th level ability. You could take the hide action as a bonus action.
Wow.
Sick. Too bad I multi-class into
rogue
rogue already.
Ranger, level 2 rogue ability.
Do that at level 3! Or 2. 2.
Level
Rogues
2.
can do that at level 2!
Yeah.
How are you gonna tell me that's a 14th level ability? And then it's like, also you can't...
It's pretty bad.
Also, you can't be tracked by non-magical means. When the fuck does tracking come up, guys? Come on. When does that come up? Like, never. Maybe Out of the Abyss is the one time, right? You're getting tracked in that one, I think, right?
Yeah, you're getting tracked in that one. You can argue that you're being tracked by the demon gangs in Avernus once you have the car.
If your GM chooses to do that, that's an optional part of that adventure.
Oh,
Yep. Demon gangs are a totally optional part of Avernus.
Wow.
18th level, Feral Sense. Your preternatural feral sense, blah, blah, blah. When you attack a creature you can't see, your inability to see it doesn't impose disadvantage on your attack rolls. Okay, yeah, you're doing the Wolverine thing at level 18. You're also aware of any invisible creatures within 30 feet of you, provided that they aren't hidden from you and you aren't blind or deafened. Wait, what? You're also aware of the location of any invisible creature within 30 feet of you, provided the creature isn't hidden from you. Doesn't invisibility make you hit? What? I don't think I've ever read that.
No, so invisibility doesn't make you hidden. It gives
you advantage on hiding.
When you're hidden, you are just not seen.
Watsy.
They make like a weird distinction there.
Watsy, if you want to make this ability cool, why didn't you just say you are aware of all creatures within 60 feet of you? End of discussion. You're so fucking cool. You know where everything is around you at all times.
They could have just given them blind sense or something too. Just like
Right.
That's all.
I mean,
yeah, that solves most of the invisibility thing.
well, basically what I'm saying, it kind of is blind sense, right? Like,
Yeah.
because it's the Wolverine thing, right? You have feral senses. You can smell and hear really good, so I know where they are. Just let me be aware of everything within 30 or 60 feet of me. Just let me know where they are. End of discussion. There's nothing they can do about it other than maybe like a really powerful spell, I suppose. You know? Like, why is there... This is another thing that I find really weird about the way they've designed Ranger. The few abilities they get later on that are kind of unique, they put all these like really frustrating stipulations on that make them not usable.
Yeah.
Or like very rarely usable. It's the Paladin's divine sense problem all over again. Fucking divine sense. I'm going to see if there's any undead around me. Well, there's a zombie on the other side of that window, but you can't sense him because he's on the other side of that window. So the zombie just kind of waves at you through the window and walks away.
Don't worry, Josh. That feature's gone now.
I believe they actually made that feature better in the playtest.
Oh, did they?
I think they did. Yeah, I believe they took away the barrier stipulation because, of course, because the barrier stipulation for a magically divine sense where you're sensing evil. Why the fuck would a door block that? That's so fucking divine sense might actually be the ability I hate in this game more than anything else.
As everyone knows, gods hate doors.
Doors, walls, windows,
yep,
all of them. Structures in general.
If they had their way, we'd all just be living on the grass fields.
Yeah.
No tents, nothing.
It's so stupid.
Fucking backpacking it.
And then 20th level, which, like most classes, sucks. Once on each of your turns, you can add your wisdom modifier to the attack roll or damage roll of an attack you make against one of your favorite enemies.
Wow.
Only your favorite enemies. You can choose to use this feature before or after the roll, but before any effects of the roll are applied. Okay, so you're telling me my level 20 ability is I do potentially plus 5 damage, plus 5 at level 20. So
yep,
basically nothing at level 20. I do plus 5 damage once a turn, and only if it's my favorite foe.
Yep.
But meanwhile, the paladin gets to turn into a holy beatific angel of God smiting.
Yep.
And the cleric gets to slap God a sweet crisp high five literally whenever he wants.
Yep.
And the wizard gets to try to rewrite reality. Yeah.
Oh yeah. The wizard rewrites reality.
Yeah.
But I only get a plus 5 damage. And only to certain things. I'm gonna say it right now. Foe Slayer, that should be your level 1 ability. Foe Slayer should proc off of favorite enemy at level 1. So, we've gone through all the ranger shit. And as we've identified...
I just want to kind of just real quick. Because most of the stuff you have mentioned, you haven't mentioned that I mentioned the Foe Slayer earlier. Or favorite foe. A lot of stuff they swapped out. The optional features from Tosh is
we should
like
talk about this.
The level 10 one specifically, it's just the one where it's like, oh, you have to hide in plain sight. It's like, I have to find mud and dirt. This fucking sucks.
Yes.
Nature's Veil. I just become invisible.
Invisible.
As a bonus action.
So,
you're like, okay.
Let's get to those. Here's my thing with the Tasha's, because you're right, I did forget about them because they're. I'm looking at D&D Beyond and they're where they are is,
Yeah, no, because they're specifically So the Tasha's optional features are better.
Yeah. But to me, the problem is they only feel like a band-aid. They don't really feel like they're getting at the crux of the problem.
Like, so one of my players right now, he's playing a Swarmkeeper Ranger.
Yep.
He literally says, we're at level 5 right now, and he's like, I'm good. He's like, I don't need to go any higher. He's like, I got all I need.
Yeah, he looked at his abilities. He's like, the rest suck.
Basically, not even like the rest suck, but like he's like Tasha's. He's like, I don't need anything else. He's like, I got my spells. Tasha's gave me a couple extra spells and shit. That's really neat. Otherwise, he's like, I don't really need to go up to whatever with the 7th level ability for Swarmkeeper. He's like, I'm good.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just gonna, do the other stuff.
Yep. So the Tasha's ones. But absolutely, I get where your play is coming from on that one.
Yeah.
So In replacement of Natural Explorer, and as a reminder, Natural Explorer is the one where you pick a terrain that's your favorite and you get some what is it even? It sucks so bad I forget what it does. Difficult
Natural
terrain.
Explorer?
Yeah, difficult terrain in your favored terrain. Difficult terrain doesn't slow your group's travel. Okay, that's rarely going to come up. Most games don't have a lot of travel. Your group can't become lost except by magical means. Again, not going to come up that often.
Yep.
Even when you're engaged with another activity, while traveling, you remain alert to danger. That one's kind of weird because the rules for like foraging and navigating and stuff don't mention anything about not being alert to danger for everybody else. So like, I don't even know what the GM is supposed to do with that information. If you're traveling alone, you can move stealthily at a normal pace. Again, same problem, just not going to come up very much. When you forage, you find twice as much food. Okay, that one might actually come up every once in a while.
Yeah, like I could see someone using this in a like, you know,
a very
module,
specific
like
kind of
King,
module,
like the Pathfinder Kingmaker or Icewind Dale.
Tomb of Annihilation.
I don't know how the fuck you'd forage food in fucking Avernus, but you know,
no, absolutely not.
The Underdark and Out of the Abyss, or no, Out of the Abyss.
Yeah.
But like, fuck, like.
When tracking creatures, you learn their exact number, their sizes, and how long ago they passed through. Bro, you got to go so out of your way to make that worth it, I feel like.
So anyway, I have a funny story from Storm King's Thunder about this,
Natural Explorer?
Yeah, we had again, Revised Ranger had this, and literally anytime we were like, all right, we're going to go up to a giant fortress, the Ranger's like, hold on, guys, give me a minute so I can find out how many giants there are, how big they, you know, what's different sizes. And it would just cause the GM so much headache because he's like, yeah, because he's literally like, oh my God, I have to fucking count every fucking giant and tell them. And they're like, how much is the range? I think it's a couple miles. And he's like, miles?
Yeah.
He's like, how the fuck? He's like, I don't pay attention to that shit.
Correct. Yep.
So he's like, he's literally counting on the map. He's like, all right, there's like 30 fucking hill giants in this map. Or like 30. Gee, that's a lie.
That's the problem, right? It's like, how often as a GM are you planning that far ahead? Not
You're
often.
not. Yeah, you're not in general.
Very rare. So, Natasha's replacement was Deft Explorer. I'll be honest. Deft Explorer is pretty cool. I'll give him that one.
Yeah. It's basically giving them like a slightly different version of the rogue shit where it's like, here you go, you get expertise, you get a language.
You get expertise, you get 2 languages, and then at level 6, your walking speed increases. You also get a flying and a swimming speed, or climbing and a swimming speed, not flying. You can't just fly. And then Tireless, I actually like. That's a fun one, although it's second wind. As an action, you can give yourself temporary hit points equal to D8 plus your wisdom modifier. You can use this action a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. You regain it when you finish a long rest. In addition, when you finish a short rest, your exhaustion level, if any, is decreased by 1.
That's pretty nice.
The exhaustion level 1 would be really cool if more games used exhaustion, or if the game in general used exhaustion, but it uses it so little that's not going to come up very much, unfortunately.
Also, that's the last variant thing from Tasha's, like, that they added. Everything else is normal. Player Handbook 2024 or 2014.
Yeah.
After that.
And then you have Favored Foe, which, like Matt was saying, is just basically Hunter's Mark as an ability as opposed to a spell.
But it still fucking requires concentration.
And it still doesn't do that much damage, and it's just kind of meh in general.
I know they changed it in one of the playtests because originally they made it again. I'm one of the people that feel like Hunter's Mark should just be a ability. It shouldn't be a fucking spell.
Yeah. Let
the Rangers have something unique to them and get rid of the fucking concentration. Oh, I do an extra bit of damage. It's so broken. It's like, dude, so what? People are going to make broken combos. People are going to do this shit. Just let them. Fine.
Yeah, be like me.
Give them something.
Look, I'm just saying, if I want to stack Hunter's Mark and Zephyr Strike, I should be allowed to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
because it's because of multi-class combos, but like,
Well, no, Zephyr Strike's a ranger only ability. So that's the thing. It's like, in a perfect world, if you want to be like the Drutz Duerden or the fucking Legolas and be like, oh yeah, you know what? Pull out my dual scimitars and like, let's go at it, boys. And you fucking Hunter's Mark some guys, Zephyr Strike at everyone around you. Like,
right, but think about how funny if it was if you were really a bastard and you were like, all right, so I'm gonna take 2 levels in fucking Ranger. I'm gonna be variant human and take Magic Initiate for Hex, and then I'm gonna put the rest in Paladin and Rogue.
Yeah, and then you're just like, would that one orc in particular? Fuck him. You're just like,
you just look at him and go,
no.
See, but Isaiah, this is why I'm like, they don't even have an argument because of what you just pointed out. It's like, oh, we make Hunter's Mark concentration, so you can't get too wacky woohoo with the multi-class. It's like, but you let Paladin smites and Rogue sneak attacks exist.
Listen, Wizard of the Coast, you let Sorsa Dinlock exist?
Exactly, Matt. You let Sorsa Dinlock exist. So what the fuck does it matter? Throw Hunter in there too. Hunter Sorsa Dinlock. Like, fuck it. You know?
Let the range fighter work.
Right,
you know,
exactly. Exactly.
I cast Hunter's Mark with my dough. What?
And then, you know, the additional ranger spells are like, whatever, fine, nothing to write home about. Who the fuck cares? I will say it's kind of funny that rangers didn't have Entangle in the player's handbook.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Why? Why did you have?
What?
Yeah,
I
know. They gave them Entangle in Tasha's is when they gave them the Entangle spell. They didn't start with the Entangle spell. Fucking how?
This is one of those things, right? Where
I know
it's like, should they have had it originally? Yes, but is this worth the revision? I don't know, boss.
I mean,
it don't seem like it.
It came with a bunch. There's a bunch of spells.
No, I know it did, but like, did we? I don't think anybody was really jonesing for fucking Rangers to get Entangled. If you are, please comment. That'd be amazing.
Me, literally me.
Were you?
Yes, because I think it makes perfect sense for a Ranger to have Entangle, and it was dumb that they didn't.
I guess.
It just makes sense.
I know it does. I'm not saying it doesn't. It's just like,
But wait, Josh, you're forgetting the most important thing. Rangers got the most broken spell in the game, Healing Spirit. Whoa.
They did.
They're viable now.
They did. Yep. Where was it? Oh, then we got some fighting styles. Blind fighting, druidic warrior, and thrown weapon fighting. Cool. Whatever. Couple extra choices. That's fun. Sure. Fine.
Can we?
Primeval awareness. What?
So you were talking about the fighting styles, and I was going back to Revised Ranger, and Revised Ranger had Tunnel Fighter.
Yeah,
which is really fucking cool as a fighting style.
Oh,
and
is that the one where you give
it's really overpowered.
Bonus action to like? Yeah, that is
overpowered.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
It's also not in the game anymore at all. So.
Yes. Okay, but here's the thing, right? It is overpowered in a very, very specific scenario, which is the fucking like hallway you're in is 15 feet wide and you're getting bum rushed by goblins or kobolds.
No, but it works in general. It doesn't specify like the room has to be this long. It's like, no, I just give it my bonus action and I have unlimited opportunity attacks. Oh, look at that. I have Sentinel. Fuck everything else.
Correct.
Well, yes, but here's the thing. They still have to be within arm's reach of you.
That's not hard. Again, bugbear, fucking glaive people, whatever. It's like,
just for the sake of it, I just want to read out Tunnel Fighter real quick.
Yeah.
As a bonus action, you enter a defensive stance that lasts until the start of your next turn. While in the defensive stance, you can make opportunity attacks without using your reaction, and you could use a reaction to make a melee attack against a creature that moves more than 5 feet well within your reach. So that plus Sentinel, just LOL. Ridiculous. So like, it did need work. I ain't gonna deny. Tunnel Fighter needed work.
I'm still one of those guys that like, I get annoyed with Sentinel because it makes sense for certain creatures, but it's like, bro, you're medium size. How are you sentineling a dragon?
Yeah, there probably should be like some sort of size limit or a check or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
Different. Another time.
It's a different defeats. Oh no, we did a feat episode. Never mind.
Then they also got Primeval Awareness in Tasha, which replaces. They got Primal Awareness, which replaced Primeval Awareness, because that's not annoying.
Couldn't just make it easier on us, wizards. You just had to,
You learn additional spells from a table. These spells don't count. You get Speak with Animals, Beast Sense, Speak with Plants, Locate Creature, Commune with Nature.
I think that this is fine. You get them for free.
Whatever.
Yeah.
They're fine. That's just a druid. You're basically just dipping a little extra druidy, which is fine. It's still not an identity, though. Martial versatility. You just can swap out your fighting style. That's it. Nature's Veil. You can turn invisible, which is not bad. You can turn invisible a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. Not bad. But again, still doesn't really feel like a class identifying thing,
Yeah.
You're not really building the whole class around Nature's Veil.
So can we, before I guess finishing off all the mechanical stuff, can we get into exactly what it is, pinpoint down fictionally what the ranger is?
That's what I was about to get to.
As a group. Oh, okay, cool,
yeah.
Cool.
So we looked through all this stuff they had. Okay, so a lot of their abilities don't feel they don't really feel like they're giving it a proper identity. And the Tasha's ones adjusted a little bit, but still don't feel that important. Ranger doesn't have their invocations. They don't have their divine smite. They don't have their sneak attack. They don't have rage. They don't have that thing that's really that's the meat and potatoes. So what the fuck should it be? And this gets to that question right there. What should Ranger be? This is why I say it's the most controversial class. Because nobody can agree on what it should be. Yeah. So I'll say personally, this is where I'm at with the whole thing. I think Ranger, their unique thing, I think, should be companions. They should be the companion class. And I say that because we don't have a companion class. And when I say class, I mean base class, right? No class at base starts with a companion and that's their thing. None of them. The only one you could maybe make an argument is that Warlock can take Pact to the Chain.
You could also make an easy argument for Wizard taking Find.
But here's the thing. Here's why I don't count Find Familiar. Find Familiar is not a unique class ability. It's a spell, for one. And two, it's not really it's not like a build definer, It's not like a powerful enough thing to be this is my whole shtick. Find Familiar spell. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
And it being a spell means you could divvy it up to other classes, be here's a piece of candy.
So fair enough, asterisk. Warlock, Pact of the Chain, just edits Find Familiar. It just says you can summon. It does edit Find Familiar. Thing.
That's true, but it makes Find Familiar better. Because it turns the regular Familiar into something that you can actually fight with and do stuff with. As opposed to base Find Familiar, which can only do help action and a touch spell or whatever. Pact of the Chain actually makes them actively more powerful. That makes your Familiar actively more powerful.
Yeah, I mean, Conjuration does the same thing. You can't attack. You can't attack with it, but it gives you more options for the spells you can cast through it.
It adds a little bit to the spells, but it's still again not a class ability they start with. Right? Because I'm talking about at level 1, you make your character. There is no companion class. There just isn't. Right? As a level 1. Once you get higher levels, you can do all sorts of shit. But base-wise, there's no companion class. So, I think it should be the Ranger. I think that one makes the most sense. Now, you could make an argument like, oh, maybe it should be Druid, or maybe it should be Warlock. That's the companion class. Sure, maybe. But as the game is currently, I think Ranger is slotted that it would make the most sense to be the companion class by default. And now I know what a lot of people are going to say. I don't want a companion. Okay.
Me.
But here's my argument to anyone who says,
aren't you the summoner guy? What the fuck are you talking about? You don't want a companion?
yeah, I don't, whatever. We're
Not for my marshal.
Okay. Here's my
Shake my
argument.
goddamn head.
This is why I think saying I don't want my ranger to have a companion is kind of a non-argument. Because if you just want to play, because if you want to play a ranger with no companion, so what you want to do is you want to play woodsman guy who's maybe good with like a bow or like a 2-weapon fighting. And, you know, you kind of track and you're good at survival and, right, you're kind of woodsman-y dude, right? You're doing the strider. Just play fighter. If that's what you want to do, fighter can do all of that. Right? You go fighter, you take Outlander background, you get survival proficiency, you maybe take a feat, so you could, I forget which feat it is, but there's a feat that you could take to give you expertise, and you could do survival expertise, you do the Outlander background, so you got the foraging thingy, maybe you pick up like in athletics, you could choose any fighting style you want as a fighter, and you get more feats as a fighter, so you could potentially customize your feat situation more to really lean into I'm woodsman guy. And if you want to be good with a bow, fighter can be just as good with a bow as ranger can. So just play fighter. Am I crazy?
Yeah, no, I don't. No, I don't agree.
But then what does ranger... I know spells. Take away the spells for a second. If you just want to play bow woodsman guy, what does ranger have that fighter doesn't?
Well, I don't want to play bow woodsman guy. I want to be like tracker huntsman guy, which fighter can't give. There are no feats that make you better at tracking.
There's no ranger abilities that make you better at tracking.
Literally, what? Yes, they are. Like the base one.
There's favorite enemy, but as we've established, favorite enemy does so little, it barely matters. It just gives you advantage on survival checks. That's literally all it does.
Yes, and I think that's one of the ones that is unfortunately sort of up to the DM, but I don't necessarily think that it does too little. I just don't think it does enough.
How is that up to the DM that it's very clear what it does?
Well, if you like, brain, please load.
Huh?
If you pick like, goblins or something, and your GM just never has fucking goblins, then yeah, you're gonna feel pretty fucking useless.
Oh no, I'm not talking about that. Let's assume you take a enemy type and your GM makes sure to let's just assume the GM is putting the enemy type in there.
Yeah, he specifically also you talk to your GM before. You're like, hey guys, so there's gonna be a lot of undead in this campaign.
Fair enough. But you get so if you replace it with favored foe.
No. Hold on. Let's assume the GM is doing that. The feature favorite enemy still isn't very good. It just gives you it literally just all it does, advantage on survival checks and intelligence checks to recall information about them. You can also get a language from them, but like whatever. That's literally it. That's all it does.
You could do downtime to like learn about enemies and stuff, or not even downtime, like side stuff.
You could do side thing, but like advantage on survival checks and intelligence checks relative to information about your favorite enemy isn't really that big of a feature. Like, sure, you don't have favorite enemy if you play a fighter, but like you're really missing out that much by just not having advantage on the survival check. Like it's not that big of a deal. If favorite enemy did more, I would say yeah. It doesn't really do much.
Well, here's the thing. Even if you don't have favorite enemy and you take favorite foe,
that just gives you Hunter's Mark.
Yes, but Hunter's Mark very specifically allows you to track shit. Sure, you would have had to have seen it first, but it does help you track things, and it does give you the extra damage.
I mean,
and if you add it with things like Hunter, which is one of the reasons why I like Hunter, and it literally turns you into the monster killer or the creature killer class. That's what I want specifically. That's the only reason why I want to play something like Ranger.
Right, I get what you're saying.
What about Monster Slayer?
It's not. If it was good, I'd love it.
Yeah, Monster Slayer sucks.
It's just And it's not even like, oh, it's not meta. It's just bad.
It's just bad. Yeah,
it's just worse Hunter.
It's like not fun.
Yeah. So for me to want to do this thing that's got like a very specific, like narrative implication, and then have an animal dropped on you and be like, well, this is just something you're gonna have to take care of.
Okay. Well, hold on. First of all, there's a couple of things. First, I don't want to say ignore the subclasses, but I'm almost sort of saying what we're talking about here is ignore the subclasses a little bit. And the reason, no, listen,
you're intrinsically tying Beastmaster into class.
Listen, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying absolve Beastmaster and make it the base, because that's really, I'm talking about changing it. I'm talking about, we're sitting in the design room. You have ultimate power. What are you going to do to change the base of the class? That's what I'm getting at. That's why I don't really want to get into subclass stuff too much, because subclasses can noodle lots of different knobs. You know, like you could give a Beastmaster style subclass to a fighter potentially. Well,
so let's put it this way. I'm sort of arguing the opposite. I'm saying absolve Hunter, give the base class all of the like track and dispose of monsters thing, and then let your beast play into that. Maybe you've trained your beast to fight like a ton of small enemies like goblins, or to distract really big enemies like giants. That's what I want out of Hunter.
It also would probably be the easier option than dissolving Beastmaster into the base Ranger. It might just be easier to, dissolve the Hunter into base Ranger.
I mean, maybe. I don't know if one would be particular. I don't know if one be
like design-wise. It feels like it would be easier, just because, like, again, there's like then you got the animal companion you got to worry about, and
I guess
all the levels with that. I don't know. I see where both of you are coming from, though.
My thing with what you're saying is like, yeah, it's like you want to play the tracker guy who knows about monsters, which I get, and I do like that fiction. It's just not well supported in the base mechanics, Like
kind of what Josh was saying earlier, there are backgrounds you can get that give you the tracker stuff. You can just take feats that'll give you expertise in certain things or skills,
I get what he's saying. I do, believe me. I feel like Hunter supports the Ranger ideal more.
I would say,
and I say this because, like, Aragorn has his horse, but that's not really
he's not really his animal companion.
It's just a horse that he likes.
I mean, same with Geralt. Like
Geralt has Roach, but Roach is very specifically a different horse every time. And Legolas doesn't have any fucking animals.
No. Unless Gimli counts, but I don't know about that.
That is his boyfriend. Thank you very much.
I think it's worth pointing out that the fictional concept of what people think of as Ranger has changed over the years. So the animal companion thing has been leaned into a lot more than it used to be.
Has it? Because
yes.
I feel like generally people, even still like normal people, they don't think of the, again, most
don't
people
think of Ranger. No, Matt, don't think D&D nerds.
No, I'm not. I'm thinking general audiences. When general audience, most people think of like a Ranger, they're like, yeah, Legolas, bowman. And you're like, okay, well, what else do they do? I don't know. They shoot bows. And it's like, all right, fucking.
I almost always, any like video game or modern like rangery character I see in modern media is almost always bowman, but bowman with pet. Like I feel like I see them with the pet so much, and I think probably a huge part of that is WoW. I'm not gonna lie, I think the WoW Hunter had a lot to do with it.
Probably. I can't unsee any other orcs in any other medium besides the WoW ones. They're just so fucking iconic to me.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. And so I guess, okay, I think, so what I'm saying is, like, obviously I like Beastmaster, so like, I'm leaning towards it, but I think what I'm kind of getting at is I would agree with you, Isaiah, if the idea of tracking and monster knowledge and that whole ethos was built into the base game better, because I think a lot of the problem is like, I want to play the trackery hunter guy. Even if you do play Hunter Ranger, it's still not I feel like it still doesn't feel that great because there's no base mechanics to really support the idea.
Well, there's a bunch of like the wilderness shit in the DMG, but again, that's if you are DM and you're going to take that stuff and then you're going to build a campaign specifically about wilderness and survival.
The wilderness stuff, Matt, is like, oh, there's an avalanche, or oh, if you need to climb something or find food. It's not like, because I think what Isaiah wants the thing where in The Witcher, Geralt walks up to the monster and goes, it's this monster. If I use this type of poison and this type of bomb, that'll help me beat it because it's immune to this other type of poison. Also, I have to make sure I fight it in the middle of the day because it'll be stronger if I fight it. That's what Isaiah wants to do.
Isn't that what Monster Slayer? Isn't that their third level ability? Hunter Sense. You immediately learn whether the creature has damage immunities, resistance, vulnerabilities. Is it hidden from divination, damage immunities?
It feels very like it is, but Hunter Sense just feels.
Let's put it this way, Matt. That's the only thing in Monster Slayer that I like.
That's true. It is the only thing.
It's the only thing worth taking that subclass for.
I think.
And I'm going to be real. You could make a very easy argument that Hunter and Monster Slayer and Hunter should just be fused into one.
Well, I think they're doing that with one of the playtests because I think they basically gave a Hunter Sense but buff version to one of the newer Rangers. Maybe. I don't remember which playtest it is, but they basically were like, yeah, you look at an enemy, you take an action or whatever, and you can tell the monster, if it's vulnerable to anything, like resistance to shit, like, just from your knowledge of like monsters and beasts and shit.
But here's my problem with it. It's so binary and boring. It's so Hunter Sense as an action. So 6 seconds, you walk up to a monster 60 feet away from you. 6 seconds, you learn whether the creature has any immunities, resistances, or vulnerabilities, and what they are. If the creature is hidden from divination magic, you sense that it has none. Oh, also it can be hidden from divination magic. That sucks. You could use this feature a number of times. You get your wisdom modifier. So you walk up to a monster, you look at it for 6 seconds, which two things. One, that's hilariously fast. But two, that's a whole turn of combat for you that you don't do anything. You just look at them.
Yeah, I mean, you can make the argument that you're like, you're studying the foe.
Right, no, I know what the argument is.
You're setting up.
Yeah, so
you spend
my issue
6 seconds and you just know. It's just a binary on-off switch.
Let him cook.
So my thought on that, right, is, and so it shouldn't be an action. It should be a bonus for sure. And
I think it should be out of combat. I think it should be an out of combat thing you do.
So this is what we were talking about previously with the know your enemy thing with fighter, where it's like the out of combat shit usually doesn't play out that way. So just make it an action or a bonus.
So, well, okay, here, go ahead. I haven't. Go ahead.
My thing, right, is I don't think there's enough. And this sounds insane, but hear me out. And this might be like Isaiah's D&D PTSD talking. So fair enough.
Okay,
but things where it's like you don't get to really do the game when it takes an action, I always worry like, if it's really good,
right, it has to be worth it.
But if it's not, and it's like know your enemy, and you basically wasted it, and now combat has started, and then you get the shit smacked out of you round one, and then go, well, I didn't even get to hit the fucking thing, really.
Right, it's the Z Bashu True Strike video. He's like, I spend my turn casting True Strike. And then 3 scorpions jab me and I die.
Yeah. It's
I should have just fucking attacked.
I don't think that's crazy, Isaiah. I think that's a valid complaint you have.
Yeah.
Or a valid concern.
What I will say, Isaiah's crackpot theory for how to make Hunter Sense cooler is that it's a passive thing that you like proc, right? And let's say it takes a minute to complete, but every round you can choose to learn a new thing about the enemy.
Okay, so that's actually kind of what I was going to say. Sort of. Okay, Isaiah, did you play Monster Hunter World?
Yes.
Okay.
The only Monster Hunter I've played.
Okay. I've played 2 Monster Hunter. The mechanic to learn about monsters in that game, where you sort of like scrape their shit off the ground and look at their claw marks and stuff like that.
Yes, I love that. That was cool. And look, people complain about the bugs. I like the little glow birds.
I like the glow bugs. Yeah, I like the glowy bugs.
Yeah, same. They're cool.
That I think is how so No, let me rephrase this. I think there should be a mechanic in the base game of D&D that is the Monster Hunter World gathering information thing, right? And then a ranger could basically do it faster or better in some way, or like you said, maybe even passively. So like maybe every turn you make a check that's like 10 plus the monster CR, and you make that check passively. If you pass the check, you learn another piece of information. If you fail, you don't. Maybe something like that, right? Because then it's like, all right, I learned his vulnerability. All right, what's his AC? All right, what's his HP? And then you could potentially do cooler stuff like... See, here's the problem. The cool ideas require GM corroboration.
They do, yeah.
Because something that I think would be really cool is if you had this passive check thing, right? And then you're like, all right, I know all their stat information. GM, tell me something about the monster, about how it fights. And then the GM could say, this monster is always going to try and burrow when threatened. Right? And they tell you about how the monster, like, actively, like, what their strategy the monster has is. That, I think, would make Hunter feel super
the old 4th
safe.
edition tactics stuff was, like, so cool. It's
Yes,
like, this is how the monster's going to fight.
Yes.
And so as a ranger, you could be like, DM, how does the monster fight? And the DM can literally just turn the fucking, like,
Turn the page.
book around
Here you go,
and be like, here you go.
Yes.
This is what they do.
That kind of shit. I think if that was the situation, I think that could be a really good identity for the ranger. However, because the game lacks all of that, that's why I lean and say, okay, so then do the companion thing instead. Because the game sort of lacks the foundation to make the trackery guy, I feel like, really work well. You know?
Yeah, and look, I think my biggest issue, one of my biggest issues with having the class based around the Beastmaster is you now become wholly responsible for keeping that thing alive, and if that thing dies or is unable to do its thing, then you are unable to be your class.
Well,
which
so
I don't like.
That's where you come into the design of the Beastmaster itself, because yes, however, they kind of solved that problem with Drake Warden. Because the dragon just poofs away and then you can resummon it. And same thing with Battlesmith Artificer. You could just revive it, and it's more durable than the Beastmaster Ranger is. So, like, yes, Beastmaster as it is currently, agree that would be a problem and a frustration. But I think you could adjust Beastmaster, and if you were if you were absorbing Beastmaster into the base class, I would say that would also warrant a relook at how the Beast Companion stuff works in general. So yes, I would say you're correct in terms of how it works currently. It could be annoying if you don't want to deal with it. But I think there's a way I think that's fixable. And again, I've said this before, I'm okay with the idea of subclasses taking stuff away and replacing them. So maybe Beastmaster Ranger is base class, and then Hunter Ranger removes the beast and says, instead of a companion, you get the hunter sensibility. You know,
kind of like how some druids now they're like you don't want to transform to an animal,
right?
Yeah, it's like, how about you summon a mushroom?
Exactly. Now, fictionally, it will be a little harder to make that make sense for a ranger. But
you have
honestly,
animal tokens, and you must spend each animal token.
Don't do that. But honestly, I feel like classes should start with their subclasses at level 1 anyway. So, like, I think that would fix that problem.
I just see Jeremy Crawford and Chris Perkins like sitting on a couch. No,
I know.
Just go back
honestly,
to
I've thought since I started playing 5e, I thought subclasses should just turn online for everyone at level 1.
Yeah, because most people start a campaign at level 3 anyways, because y'all want to get to the fucking subclass.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Like,
in fact, actually, funny enough, when me and Sam first played D&D, I thought that's how subclasses worked. I just assumed that was how they worked.
In 4th edition?
No, in 5th edition.
Oh.
When me and Sam first played 5e, I didn't read. I just assumed that was how subclasses work, because that just made sense to me. And I was partially right because of things like Cleric and Wizard. Right? Or
yeah.
Wizard? Wizards? Cleric and... No, someone else starts at level 1. Who else?
Sorcerer.
Sorcerer. Cleric and
Sorcerer, and I think Warlock gets it.
Warlock doesn't.
No?
Warlock does. Warlock doesn't.
I know Sorcerer definitely gets it at level 1. I don't remember who the other one is.
I'm going to double check Warlock.
Wizard and Cleric get it at level 2, and I think... Oh, and Druid.
Cleric starts at level 1, don't they? Oh, Warlock does start at level 1.
Oh, okay. So I was right.
Wait, are Clerics level 2? I thought they were level 1.
I think Clerics are level 2. Yeah, Clerics are level 2. Divine Domain.
Level 1.
Yeah.
No, that's level 1, Matt. I'm looking at it right now. Divine Domain. Level 1.
They get a Divine Domain feature at level 2 as well.
Yes,
okay, that's why I'm fucking it up.
Yeah. Anyway, point being,
I was half right.
My assumption that they started at level 1 was like sort of correct, just not for everybody. You know?
Yeah. It's still weird that they were like, yeah, we're gonna make everyone, they get the subclass at level 3, and it's like, why? It's like, why? It's like just give everybody at level 1, and then they're like, never mind, it's going back the way it was, and it's like, no, you're not listening.
No, it's not going. So this is the funny thing, Matt. It's not totally going back the way it was. So
some of them are, some of them aren't. Yeah.
No. So they are keeping so it's half. It's half going back, because what they're doing now is everyone gets their subclass at level 3 still. Like every class gets it at level 3, but the level up progression is going back to the 2014 version.
Oh, what the fuck? That's
Cleric gets their subclass at level 3, but the subclass features are the same levels that they would have gotten them in the 2014 version.
What the fuck is the point?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think some people have theorized it's to help with multi-classing a little, dipping. That's what some people think.
Yeah, well, if they wanted to fix that, they would have fucking changed Warlock or Paladin to not be charisma casters, but they fucking won't.
True.
Or sorcerers. I don't know.
Yeah, because like here's the thing. It's like the reason they say they don't want subclasses at level 1. They're like, it's because if you do a subclass at level 1, it's sort of a commitment. Now, first of all, it's a tabletop game. Literally nothing is a commitment. Literally nothing. I could just change everything on the fly whenever the fuck I want. It's a tabletop.
Yeah, it's all about imagination. They even put rules in Tasha's being like, do you want to switch your subclass or you want to switch your entire class? It's like, yeah.
Yes. But even if it was a commitment, like let's pretend your GM's a Nazi and won't let you change. Just take one of the level 1 features that classes start with and swap them out for a subclass feature. So for example, Fighter at level 1 gets a fighting style and second wind. Let's say your fighter started level 1 as, I don't fucking know, Battle Mash is a bad example. Eldritch Knight. So instead of second wind, you get fighting style and spellcasting at level 1 because you chose Eldritch Knight. There you go. No more complicated. Still 2 abilities. Problem solved. It's an easy fix. It's not a hard fix.
I don't know, man. I gotta move stuff around. It's not like I'm doing that already, but God.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like moving 2 whole things. Which is more than one.
And Barbarian. Okay, well, Barbarian starts with Rage and Unarmored Defense. Well, Unarmored Defense is a fucking passive anyway, so if they get a 3rd ability at level 1, is that really that big a deal? All right, so that's Ramir, Isaiah. Matt, where are you at? What do you think, Ranger? So Isaiah's like base range. Again, don't think about the subclass too much. What should base Ranger be? Isaiah's like, I want huntery, trackery guy, and I'm saying it should be animal companion guy. Where are you falling on that?
So it's weird because for me, it's like going back to like fictionally, what is the fucking Ranger? So it's like it's gotta be someone who not only like works with like surviving in the wilds, but like they want to be there. They'd rather be out in their environment. Mm-hmm. They have to be good at hunting and tracking. I kind of agree with Isaiah on that one. They have to be X-Men marksmen. I think the idea of the Ranger. Yeah, I know Aragorn. He has a fucking claymore or longsword most of the time, but he uses the bow a bunch. I fucking saw it. I've seen those movies.
Again, this is why I continue to harp on that Legolas is the better Ranger example than Aragorn.
I do. Yeah, I know. I agree. It's,
you're just proving my point.
And then spiritual, some sort of like connection with nature, akin to druids. So, I mean, one of the big things for me is I keep saying like the hunter's mark thing. That's like the one. Just let them be able to they use a bow, they use a range. It doesn't have to be a bow. It could be a gun. It could be a crossbow, or throwing weapons. I feel like the ranger with the dual scimitar or 2 weapon fighting. Yeah, that same. But I feel like they should be able to be like, cutting action. I can like aim. The new thing from Tosh is the rogue thing. I can cutting action to get advantage on like my first hit because I'm such an excellent marksman. Yeah, whether it's a range thing or I whack you with a sword.
It sounds like what you're saying is maybe that the ranger's niche thing, because we're trying to figure out what should the ranger have that nobody else has, right? Because everybody else has stuff that the other class, like what should be their thing. It sounds like you're saying they should be maybe the marksman class, which would be a good one because that doesn't exist. There is no marksman class, really.
Something sort of marksman-y, because like there again, fighter has the what's the bow subclass that everyone
arcane archer.
Arcane Archer. I love the idea of the Arcane Archer, but God, is it not good?
I always felt, here's the thing.
I really want it to be good, and it's an easy fix, too.
It's not good, it's not good, but it's the easiest to make good.
It's the easiest to make.
Here's an interesting idea. What if, let's take this a step further. First, all right, you ready? Josh's Wacky Woohoo Design Shop.
Yeah.
Arcane Archer becomes a Ranger subclass. That's the first thing.
I'm fine with that.
Because Fighter already has Eldritch Knight. So, like, did they really need Arcane Archer? No.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they did. So, Arcane Archer becomes a Ranger subclass. Let's assume Arcane Archer's made a little bit better. Right?
Yeah.
And then, why don't we double down on this? Ranger is the marksman tracky guy. And Fighter is the melee unga bunga guy. Boom, bang, boom.
Yeah.
No?
Even that, I'm not like, I'm gonna have to be like not at that as well because I don't like bow rangers.
Okay, but here's the thing, Isaiah. Just because their identity as the marksman guy doesn't mean that the game wouldn't have options for the melee ranger. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can do that.
Because
or like, again,
in the same way,
it doesn't have to be a bow. It could be a gun.
It could also be a gun axes. Or throwing knives or other. Yeah, there's other just again, range shit. Because again, here's the thing with the subclass system, right? Because someone looks and goes, all right, I want to play a fighter, but I don't want to play a melee guy. I'd rather use a bow. So that's kind of why they made Arcane Archer. So conversely, you could just make a ranger subclass that's the dual wielding scimitar ranger, and they're the melee ranger. You know what I mean? Like, there's no the base class's identity is just the starting point to have them have a niche. But because of the way 5e is designed, the subclass can break away from identity. Like, subclasses mixing and matching over top of each other and having mushy identities is fine. That makes sense because that should be what subclasses are for. But the base classes should be unique. So it's like Ranger is marksman guy. If you want to play not marksman guy, and again, really Ranger is ranged guy. And if you want to play not ranged guy, I don't want to use a bow or throwing knives. Okay, here's the subclass for melee. You know what I mean? Then you could have best of both worlds.
I still think there'd be an easy way to go about it.
What?
Like, I still think there's a more agnostic way. Sorry, not easier, but a more like agnostic way to go around it.
Which would be...
Well, I think what you'd want, right, is you'd let, like, you can keep them, like, pretty much melee or range neutral, but give more specializations to melee for fighter and more specializations to ranger for range.
Is that not that's basically what we were saying.
Well, no. So what I'm arguing is give ranger a super bow specific subclass and give fighter a super melee specific subclass, but keep them
the fighter
standard.
The fighter one is called champion.
That's not melee specific.
I don't know. I would say I've never seen a champion fighter use anything else.
Literally, no. Battlemaster can also proc off ranged attacks. Most of their maneuvers.
Yeah.
There is no. It's funny you say that. There is no. This is the melee one, or this is the range. Well, there is the range one for fighter. There's Arcane Archer, but there is no. This is the melee fighter. Actually, that doesn't really exist.
Oh wait, no, samurai, because you can't use your fighting spirit with a ranged weapon.
That's the closest, but even that one's like it's like one ability. That barely counts. But sure, that's the closest, I suppose.
No, wait, we're talking about we're talking about breaking the ranger up into either its own class for the marksman or fighter if you want to be more melee. What if there was a subclass of druid that was the ranger, and you are basically the marksman?
Yeah, I've heard that argument. I'm not a fan of that one either.
Druid.
Yeah, nah.
I'm not a fan. I think druids feel different. Druids fictionally feel so different to me because druids are like religious leaders, whereas rangers are like woodsmen, hitmen. You know, like there's not enough. Like I know people say that like, oh, they're the same thing. They're the nature guys, but like, there's enough stuff about ranger that's more than just the nature guy. Like it's a part of ranger to be the nature guy, but they're not like a druid. Like a druid is leading like a procession of people about like the glory of nature. I don't see a ranger getting up on a pedestal and telling everyone how amazing bears are. You know what I mean? Like from a fictional standpoint, not so much a mechanical thing, but like a fictional standpoint. I don't think ranger. I don't know. I just don't like. I know people are like, just get rid of ranger. I don't like that option. I think that's not the move.
Well, so I like your idea of giving one class a specialization and giving ranger its own to give it some niche protection. And what I think for me that one is urban versus nature, and the difference being rogue is the urban cityscape skill jockey, whereas ranger is the nature-based skill jockey, because they both are pretty much skill jockey type classes, right?
Again, I would say yes if the game supported that design. You know,
because then you also don't want to.
It tries to, whether or not it does it well.
Tries.
Yeah.
That's to be desired, but like it does try to reinforce that.
Yeah, but like you don't want to keep certain like classes in, because if you're like, all right, the ranger's more urban, rogue's more urban, ranger's more wilderness. What if you're playing like a city campaign like Waterdeep Dragon Heist, and you're like, I want to play a ranger.
Don't.
And it's like, yeah. Then literally DM's like, just don't. You can't play this. It's like,
see, okay,
don't tell me what to do.
See, but here's my thing. I don't understand. I've heard people say this kind of thing before, and I really don't understand this argument, because people are like, oh, every class should be viable in every situation. No, they shouldn't. There's no reason. It's not like, if some classes are better in some situations than others, that's actually good game design. That's not bad. Like, every class should not have an equal degree of viability. If you're playing a city campaign that's about political intrigue and like stealing from nobles, just don't play the ranger. You know? Like, because here's the thing. And I know this, maybe I'm sounding harsh, but like, I get really annoyed with this. The reason I say this though is because a lot of the time when people have a character concept, they're like, this is my character concept. What fits the character concept best? Oh, the ranger. And then the GM says, well, you probably don't, which by the way, this already exists. You don't want to play in an urban campaign. It is actually a bad idea to play a ranger. This is already a problem. Just throwing that out there. So it's not even like saying don't play a ranger in Waterdeep Dragon Heist. That's not even a new thing. That already exists.
Yeah. Well, Waterdeep Dragon Heist has been out for how many years?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, so this is already a problem. This isn't like a new thing. Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
I was just bringing it up for the conversation.
So you go, my idea fits the ranger, and then your GM goes, well, we're playing Waterdeep Dragon Heist, so I feel like you probably don't. I'm gonna say don't play a ranger, because you're not really gonna get to use a huge chunk of your shit. And the player goes, oh, but I had a really cool idea. You as the GM then go, okay, what part of your character, like what was it about your character idea that are you excited about? What made you think ranger? And the player goes like, oh, well, I really wanted to play this marksman with this really good bow firing guy who's like who can like hop around on the rooftops and like take people out through the window, and is like does this sort of sneaky thing and can maybe talk to like the street animals. And the GM goes, okay, why don't you just play a rogue with a bow, maybe take like Arcane Trickster to get a little bit of the magic, and then just flavor slightly differently, and you're pretty much going to get the same thing. Oh, I didn't know rogue could do that. Oh, okay, that works. Yeah, I'll play rogue instead. You know what I mean?
Speaking
That's
from
how that should
experience,
go.
it should. But speaking from experience, because I had this happen to me a bunch. Sometimes players will have an idea in their mind for their character concept, and they won't budge.
No, I'm not saying, but you don't need to change your character concept. You just got to hone down.
No. I mean, like they have a specific subclass in mind. They won't budge even if there's an alternative.
But here's the thing. You gotta hone down, why are you excited about that particular, what is it about that particular class is the secret, right?
Real quick.
Because they're excited about an idea, right? They have a specific idea. So it's like, what thing in that class got you excited? And then work from there. You gonna say, Isaiah?
Yeah, so here's my thing, right? I think that's fine. I think that's viable. If you have a player who's like, nope, I want to play a ranger.
I mean, you can let them do it.
Yeah, at some point you have to tell them, like, look,
it's a bad idea, but okay.
I've tried cooperating. That's fine. Mm-hmm. You can play this class, you can play this subclass, but you need to understand that there is a cost to this. Like Tomb of Annihilation, right? Tomb of Annihilation very specifically says that you cannot bring people back to life when you're in the tomb, right?
Yep.
No resurrection spells work. So if your cleric is a life cleric who's all about bringing back the dead and saving his friends, I'm sorry, I can change it. I'm the DM. I can do whatever the fuck I want. But the tension of this game, it's predicated on you can't bring people back to life. If you don't want that to be an issue, I'm sorry, that's sort of insurmountable in some way. That's a cost that you need to take on. Like,
it's like, yeah, I want to run this module in this particular way. And also,
it's not even, real quick, it's not even, I want to run it in this particular way. It's literally how this module is supposed to be run.
Right, but assuming you want to run Tomb of Annihilation, then assuming you're interested in most of the, in most of that stuff, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you decided I want to play Tomb, and you were intrigued by the Death Curse and all this other crap. So, like, presumably you're like, I want to run it as written because that was what interested me. And here's the other thing. Yeah, you're right, Isaiah. Let them do it, and you know what's going to happen a lot of the time? The player's going to go, oh, we're playing Waterdeep Dragon Heist. You try to talk them out of playing Ranger. They don't take it. You go, okay, fine, play Ranger. And then they play Ranger for 10 sessions and go, bro, this sucks. None of my abilities work because we're in a city. And you go, yeah, I warned you. Can I change? Yes, of course you can change your class.
Actually,
you know what I mean?
Completely forgot. In Waterdeep Dragon Heist, they do try to have an incentive if you want to play a Druid or a Ranger. They have the Emerald Enclave in there. That's the nature guild.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they try to put something in there to entice you. But that's not a mechanical thing, right? That's a story thing.
No, it's both, because they add mechanical things. Like if you complete quests for each guild, you get like certain abilities, or you can get magic items.
Right. But it's not.
You can.
It doesn't change the fact that you can't use Nature's Veil, for example.
No.
Right. That's what I mean. Like the Emerald Enclave there is to help out, but it doesn't change the fact that Nature's Veil isn't going to do anything. Landstride's not going to really do anything. What was the other one? Hide in Plain Sight's not going to do anything, right? Like that problem's still there.
Yeah, unless you super heavily reflavor them for an urban, like...
Right, yeah, you find some way to work, which, sure, that's... And that
it's
kind
doable.
Of thing is like, fine, go for it, do it. Just don't expect me as the GM to do all that work for you. If you want to do that, then, do it yourself, Chief.
Yeah, it's about compromise. Like,
yeah.
you expect the GM to do a little bit to work with you, but you also have to work with your DM.
Yeah. If
you can't be like, no, I want to be fucking, Vexalia with my bear, and we're in Waterdeep, and when I keep telling you that the bear is not allowed in the buildings because it's a bear, and it's huge and it doesn't actually fit in any of the hallways.
Yeah, it's like if you're gonna choose a bear, or if you want to play a Beastmaster in Waterdeep, don't make your animal companion a bear, make it a falcon, right? And then when you go into the town and you go into the bar, the falcon can just sit up on the roof, you know, or make it a dog, like a normal dog, so people don't freak out because you're just walking around with a big dog. That's normal. You know what I mean? Like that's those kind of compromises.
You made a ferret or snake or something, so you can like actually.
Ferret would be a little weird, but all right. I guess. Sure.
I mean, Minsk is what is? Sorry, what's Boo?
It's a miniature
hamster,
giant
right?
space hamster.
A miniature giant space hamster. Yes.
Yeah.
Which
Generally
is the size of a normal hamster, so he's just, no one would bat an eye. But he's a miniature giant space hamster.
Mm-hmm.
It's important. He'll get bigger one day, probably. Also, side note, Natural Explorer literally doesn't have an urban terrain type as a choice, so you just miss out that entire ability. The whole thing.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
Right. So it's like, listen, but it's okay. Not all classes are going to make sense for all campaigns. I don't think that's a big deal.
It's funny. Even the Circle of the Land Druid. There's no urban circle.
Yeah, no, there isn't. It's true.
Now I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah.
You could make an argument. A sound argument, mind you, for Waterdeep Dragon Heist to be coastal, because it's a harbor town.
True.
Yeah, you could try and make coastal work. Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
there's also a mountain in the middle of the city, so you can also pick mountain.
It's like certain campaigns are gonna lean into certain classes more. It's like, we're gonna play a campaign entirely on the celestial plane of good. Can I play an Archfiend Warlock? Come on, dude. Really? You're gonna really Archfiend Warlock? Dude, not even Fae? You're gonna go Fiend? Yeah, I want to play Fiend. Come on, man.
Again, man. I'm telling you,
we're playing a campaign in Mechanus. Okay, so I want to be a Warlock of the Demogorgon.
Yeah.
Hey, but we're in Mechanus. You literally can't be chaotic. No, but I want it.
Yeah, it's like, come on, bud. Seriously. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Again, players are gonna pick what they want, man. Like, I know.
But again, if you're like, I'm gonna make it work, fucking okay. And then you play a couple of sessions and every single character in Mechanus hates the Warlock, and the Warlock player's like, why is everyone mean to me? Because you serve the Demogorgon.
You keep slightly tilting all the paintings in the Modron's house.
That's kind of it, though, right? Like that's you. I think you hit the nail on that one, Matt. Where it's like players like, I'm gonna make it work, and then you as a GM are gonna go, right, correct. You are gonna make it work.
If you can come up with a really good backstory explanation, if you can really give me an awesome, juicy, fictional reason that I can do something with, fine, go for it, right? If you're like, oh, well, I'm here because I'm a spy of the Demogorgon and I'm pretending to be a cleric or something, if you could come up with this crazy Rube Goldberg machine of ideas, go for it. But there's certain things like Natural Explorer for the Ranger. It doesn't have an urban option, Chief. I don't know what to tell you. Because that is another thing that people point out with Ranger, where it's like, Ranger's bad. Rangers are only bad because the GM doesn't support the Ranger player when they pick Ranger. And it's like, there's a certain amount of truth to that, but even if you do try to really support the Ranger, they're still not that much better, And also, you're gonna yell at the GMs for not supporting the Ranger. The official fucking design team doesn't support the Ranger. Basically, none of the adventures other than Tomb of Annihilation support the design of the Ranger.
I would say Storm King's Thunder as well. Just from
maybe that one,
adventure. Yeah. Just because it is literally travel up and down the Forgotten Road, the Forgotten Realms of the adventure. And it's like, oh,
shit, it's shitload, but a shitload of the official adventures, Ranger is just gonna be kind of useless from the official designers. So clearly it's not just a GM problem. You know what I mean? Oh, Ranger. I am curious real quick, because this is another thing I hear come up a lot. And, As the Southern Bells say, bless her heart, but I greatly disagree with Dale Kingsmill on this one. As much as I often agree with her, I hear a lot of people be like, Rangers shouldn't have magic. And she's one of those people who's like, Rangers should not have magic. They shouldn't have any sort of inherent spell casting. Where y'all fall on that? Because no, I think Rangers should have spells.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
In fact, I think Rangers should have cantrips because it makes more sense for Rangers to have smaller trick
effects.
Magic than 5th level spells.
Agreed.
Druidcraft and stuff.
Yeah. Now, you can't go any lower than 5th level spells in 5e as a caster. Fair enough. But
I mean, there's no reason they couldn't cap them at 4th level spells. They could.
That'd be a little wild. Wouldn't
they be quarter casters, like Eldritch Knight?
Something like that, yeah. You could do that, yeah. You'd probably have to give them something else to sort of make up for it, but
Yeah,
I totally...
Paladin. Oh, Paladin's also 5th.
Yeah,
Paladin's this is not like an intrinsic...
Or
I don't know where I've seen it, though, but it's a game or a show or something where, the Ranger, puts it's not Gandalf, because I know Gandalf does do this, but it's like a Ranger character putting tobacco in a pipe and snapping their fingers to light it. That's a really Ranger thing to do,
Yeah,
I think that is Lord of the Rings. I think.
No, he said.
It happens in Lord of the Rings, but it's not just Gandalf. I've seen it somewhere else.
I will say, as a little bit of a compromise, because I think the reason I hear some people be like Rangers shouldn't have spells is because they don't want to cast spells off a spell list. But I think people would probably be okay with Rangers having some kind of innately naturey magical effects. So an interesting idea I heard is, what if Rangers had Eldritch Invocations, but Ranger Edition? Okay. So they had little magical tricks they could do that weren't technically spells on the spell list. They were just abilities, but they did kind of a spell-like thing. Which I'm I would take that compromise. Instead of getting Produce Flame, they get a little, Ranger Invocation that's you can summon flame in your hands and launch it at enemies. So it's not the cantrip, but it's it's an ability you get. I don't know. I think that could be potentially fun.
If you give them spell effects as class features and then do that, I'd be so down for that.
Yeah, because I do kind of understand, because it is true that using spell slots the same way a wizard does feel slightly weird on a Ranger. I do kind of get that sentiment. There is something that feels a little funny about spell slots for some reason. I don't know exactly what it is, but it does feel slightly funny. In the same way that I think Paladin's spell slots sometimes feel kind of weird. But Paladins feel more magical, so I'm more okay with it with Paladins. I don't know.
That's interesting, because we've talked about it before, where I'm I like Paladin spells less because I feel for me, Paladin spells are a waste of time when why would I use spells when I have Smite,
Yeah, it's sort of a delicate balance. I think it's I come at it from it's sort of interesting that, the problem is Smite is just so good because the idea of having a singular ammo resource that you have to bounce between multiple options can be fun design, because you have to make choices to give you I haven't done this in a while. Everybody take a shot. It's time to bring up fighting games. In Street Fighter
episodes.
I know, right? In Street Fighter 6, we got the drive gauge, right? And the drive gauge lets you do a bunch of shit. You can parry, you can drive break, you can drive impact, you can guard break, you can drive rush. So you have all these options, but it's a fun, interesting mechanic. They all use the same resource, but it's fun and interesting because the different ways you use your drive gauge is different expressions of how players play. Some people use it more offensively. Some people use it more defensively. Some people like to use drive rush to close gaps. Some people use it exclusively as combo extenders. It's interesting that you have these different ways you can use it. So on paper, the idea of the paladin having to choose between smites or spells can be a fun thing that can sort of help, that can flavor your style of play. The problem is just smiting is so good that it feels like just the optimal choice 90% of the time. That's where it becomes a problem. And then occasionally you'll use a spell like Sam using the Find Greater Steed spell every once in a while. Right? Like that's why it's a problem. The smites are so good. Speaking of, I'm just saying. Easy little mini nerf on Paladin Smite. Little mini nerf, not a big change. Pre-declared smites. I'm just saying.
Absolutely not. I refuse. Never.
Easy change. If you have to pre-declare your smites, suddenly you have to make a little bit more of a choice. It's not as free. It's not free damage. It's still
pre-declared smites, but you don't lose the slot if you miss.
Well, no, because that takes out the balance of it. That defeats the point.
And I'm sorry, we can't come to a compromise, sir. Meeting adjourned.
Well, but no, because the reason I say, because the thing about smites is smites do so much damage that it's just free damage. So of course you're just gonna do it every time you see the hit. You're like, well, I'm gonna smite. Obviously, I'm gonna smite. It's not a choice, so it's not interesting. If you have to pre-declare it, you have to be a little more choosy about how you're going about it. You have to look at the enemy and be like, what are my chances here? How good's my to hit? What's his ace? Stuff like that. And if you have to pre-declare smites, you're more likely to use the spells because the spell is reliable and the smite is slightly less reliable. Not even that much less.
They're not. Well, okay. The spells are not that reliable. I'm gonna be real.
Well, yeah, they are because they work. Spells just leveled spells just work. Well, I mean,
they don't, because like the spell smites, sure, if you miss, they're not gone. But if you get whacked while you've got it held, or you get whacked when to use it, the spell effect ends.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't talking.
You lose concentration. Yeah.
I mean, yes, I wasn't necessarily talking about those.
The auras as well, though. The auras as well, they can be canceled out of.
The auras are passive.
The spell auras.
The aura spells? Those aren't passive.
Oh, the aura spells. The aura spells. Yeah, I mean, I was just talking about spells broadly across the game. Like leveled spells, mostly like a damage spell, for example, even if it doesn't work, it still gives you half damage. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Or like activating Bless, for example, Bless always activates. You just turn it on, right? Obviously stuff like Bane and like Hold Person and stuff, those can just fail. But it would make you cast spells a little bit. And if you...
I don't know that it would for me, I'm going to be real.
And here's the thing, Isaiah. If you're saying pre-declare... Well, now we're talking about Paladin. But if you're saying pre-declare, but you don't use the spell slot, that is effectively exactly the same as the way it currently works. That changes nothing. Because if that's the case, then you're going to say, I pre-declare smite before I attack every single turn, as opposed to where it works now, which is I declare smite after I hit every single turn. It's the same thing. So that I was attempting to change how it works. What you're suggesting doesn't change anything. Mechanically, it's the same.
Fair
it's the
enough.
Same problem.
The idea of
too much of a free lunch.
Smite to a miss kills me. I just can't. I can't.
I mean, maybe it does half damage. Like, it could be workshopped, but all I'm saying is Smite is just so... The problem is Smite's one of those fucking... Smite's the opposite of Ranger shit, where it's just so good, it's just the pick. Like, it's just the move. It's the pick. You're not gonna do anything else. It's too good, as opposed to Ranger, which is so bad you never pick it. You gotta do something. I think it's just the way it works now is too much. I also would accept knocking the damage die down by 1. I think that'd be fine.
From D10s to D8s?
No, from D8s to D6s.
Oh, geez. No. Absolutely not.
That's sneak attack!
No,
that's the same damage as sneak attack.
Well, here's my thing, right? I think the higher die is justified for Paladin because unlike Rogue, who... you throw your fucking attack out, you miss, now you're a squishy boy, you can just go, all right, cool, I'm leaving, bye, and then disengage and just leave with, like, pretty much no ramifications to yourself.
Yeah, but Paladin, you get hit way less anyway. Got way higher AC.
I don't think that necessarily.
On top of all your aura bullshit.
Well, so you, whether or not you get damaged more or less, maybe, but like you will statistically be hit more because you're frontline. Versus a rogue who can be a rear line melee, so to speak, by running in, smacking once, disengaging, running away.
I don't tell you, they're too good, Chief. They're too good. They need to knock them down a peg somehow. They're too much.
I mean, I think they've done it with the you can only smite once per round.
They went back on that.
Oh, Lamau.
Yeah. A lot of people complained.
Yeah, I mean,
Keep smite broken.
I said this to Matt. Look at the trend on, if you go back, if you listen to all the videos Jeremy Crawford and Todd Kendrick have put out, every single time a class ability gets rated highly in the playtest, it's because it makes the players more powerful. And every single time it's gotten a low rating, it's because it makes the players weaker. Every time. That's a problem. Just saying. So, of course, the thing that nerfed Paladin damage, low rating. So they changed it.
For me, though, it's almost understandable because Paladin really is the DPS of the game.
Yeah, but it shouldn't
be. As much as I want it to be Barbarian is a tank who does DPS versus a Paladin, which is a DPS who can tank.
I know, but a Paladin shouldn't be the DPS. This is the problem.
I don't know what else they could be, because I don't think they should be tanks.
They're supposed to be support tanks. Like, that's what their design was back in the ye old. Like, that's their original concept.
League of Legends AP tank.
They're kind of. Yeah, they're support tanks. That's what they're supposed to be. But it doesn't really. The support guy doesn't really exist that much in 5e. But like, that's what the idea is. Like, they're supposed to be the guy who's tanky McBeef man in the way that the fighter is, but they don't do as much damage as the fighter, but that's because they have stuff like auras to help the team out. That's supposed to be that's their vibe. And that was their vibe back in the day. Not so much anymore. Shit, that's even their vibe in World of Warcraft, or it was. That was their vibe in World of Warcraft. Much like D&D, WoW Paladins got stupid OP over time. Much like I don't know. I mean, I'll admit Paladin's hard to design for because they're kind of just too good at everything is sort of their problem. They don't have an obvious flaw.
I don't know that's
the Ranger is my favorite
true.
Paladin.
I don't know if that they're I don't think that they're necessarily too good at anything. Or not at everything. So they're not too good at everything. I think they are Paladins in
too deep in the weeds right now.
Fair enough. We're also 2 hours and almost 20 minutes.
I know. I don't know how I hate Paladins. Hate running for Paladins is really what I should say.
I just don't like playing Paladins.
I do.
I love the idea.
No one asked you,
much like Ranger, I love the idea of playing a Paladin.
It's fun.
All right, I don't know. Anyway, yeah. That's our grievances on Ranger, I suppose. Yeah.
Just skip past the last 20 minutes of talking about Paladins.
Yeah, that was a mangent and a half. Anyway, yeah, Ranger stuff. Don't get rid of Ranger spells. That's the one thing we all agreed on across the board. Rangers keep spells. They should be magical. I don't know. I hope they figure something out. I really do. I want. I don't know. I want Ranger to feel juicy and delicious. That's how I'm gonna phrase that. Juicy and delicious. Just want them to feel good. I want to be able to look at Ranger and be like, hell yeah, you're doing the Ranger thing. I want them to have their niche protection.
And much like I said last week, where it's like, take the Eldritch Knight, throw it away, and just do Rune Knight. Just make the Eldritch Knight Rune Knight. Same thing here. Just take the Beastmaster, and look at the Drake Warden and just do that, but better, and not Dragonlight. Just fucking.
I mean, yes,
hard.
absolutely.
I'm not a game designer, and I know I can
If
figure
we
this out.
get,
Come on, guys.
if we get nothing else, if Ranger is exactly the same, just please, for the love of God, rework Beastmaster, my beloved. Just rework Beastmaster.
Yeah, hard agree on that one. Just
If you do nothing else, if you reprint the entirety of 2014 Ranger, but you give me a better Beastmaster, I'll take it. I'll take what I can get. I'm looking for scraps here, guys. I really am. Because do I love Rangers and Druids.
Yeah, I will also throw this last bit out for my player, the Swarm Keeper. It is basically a more magical Druid. Ranger. Sorry. Holy shit. Brain fart. Fired.
Yeah, I just don't like the action of Swarm Keeper.
Swamp.
yeah, no,
I'm just not into like magic bees. I don't know. I'm just not about it.
He makes it work. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure I could.
Also, Strixhaven, it's magic school. Like, there would be a guy who's fucking the one dude from Naruto.
Yeah, I mean, yes, there would be a Shino, absolutely.
Yeah.
Shino, my boy, never lost a fight.
True, I do love. Yes, true. Shino's great. I'm sure if I wanted to, I could figure out some sort of like idea for a Swarm Keeper Ranger, but just on paper, looking at it, it does not invoke anything for me.
It's mostly to the spells, the extra spells they get, and the fact
as
that it
opposed
is the
to
more
something
magical
like
Ranger.
Fey Wanderer, which I looked at and immediately had a bunch of ideas.
No.
That one instantly, I was like, that's cool. I got lots of ideas there. So, follow us on Twitter.
Yeah.
That's it.
So what type of subclass would Elon Musk be? Is he more of a hunter ranger because he's trying to kill his own,
Whichever one explodes
or...
the fastest. Yeah. All right. Peace, y'all.